Hello, Penny.
Hello there, Mr. GreenSpirit. Welcome to the March Nova Cup. How the devil are you, my friend?
I'm doing very good. I'm already looking forward to cast some nice games. I hope to see some good plays.
I mean, you may have come to the wrong place because I think we're starting out with Toykan and Kid K versus Steenie and Kioma. How do you feel about this matchup?
Oof. Yeah, then I've certainly come to the wrong place. How do I feel about that matchup? It kind of depends. Depends on in what state of mind Toykan is, I would say.
Yeah.
And on the other side, Steenie and Kioma have been showing quite a decent performance recently in LHL. So
they really have, actually. They've been playing extremely well, Steenie and Kioma. Are they undefeated even in their group?
As far as I know, so far they are. So I gotta give that to them. No matter what you think about them individually as players, apparently they have something going for them as a team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're in the easy group. Group A, everyone knows is by far the easy group. But they're still, you can't take it away from them. They're performing very well, even if it is in the extremely easy Group A, you've got to say.
I mean, aren't you and Julian in Group B?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, we're in Group B. So by definition, Group A has to be the easy group.
I would rather say that automatically makes Group B the easy group.
Hello? Are you drunk? Is it opposite day? What's going on?
I mean, you know for sure that for Dum Dum Fam that I wanted to be in Group B just to play you and Julian. So
yeah,
it's obviously the easy group.
Well, I mean, you say that now, but you were so scared of the prospect of facing us in the playoffs that you actually pulled out of the entire league. So,
oh man, you know that's not true.
I know that's not true. I know that's not. It's ripped, dude. But I think this should be a pretty good matchup. Honestly, I think these two teams are probably, I would say, fairly evenly matched. Now, I haven't really seen Kid K play in a tournament setting, but I know that Toykan is a very good player.
Oh yeah. Steenie hit 2.6k.
Wow, Steenie 2.6.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
he was purple badge a couple days ago, so he must.
He's been climbing fast. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Toykan is maybe a bit underrated by some players.
I think Toykan is honestly one of the best players. When he tries, that is, because he can just play completely buzzed off his mind. Drunk, other things, and still be really, really competitive at the top level. I think if he ever played sober, which by the way, Little Bird tells me he's not today, but if he ever played sober, I think he might be a contender. You know?
Well, I'm not sure. Imagine he would play sober. I don't know.
Well, maybe he's Samson. Maybe the drugs and alcohol is like his hair, He that's where he gets his strength from.
Yeah, pretty much. I would rather assume he would have to relearn the entire game if he played sober for the first time in his life. Would be, oh my god, what are all these units doing? I've never seen them.
It's like me, dude. When I'm drunk, I speak French and German just completely fluently.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And then when I'm sober, obviously it's much more difficult. But it's 100% on point, perfect lingual skills when I'm drunk.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In my head, it is.
Same for me in any language.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Well, I think we might be ready to get into a game pretty soon. It looks like all the players are here, so we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, Toykan needs a little break.
Okay.
Of 3 minutes, so we have to fill in the gap.
Fill in some time. Okay. So
Kid K is quite a new player.
He isn't. He's a post-launch player, isn't he? I think he joined September when the game released or something like this.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it's always impressive to see those guys like climb to the very top of the ladder, you know, because they've been playing for so much shorter than the rest of us. So when you get players like Kid K and Greer, Offmer, Lucy, you know, did I say Drakir? Like Slickins, that kind of group of people that have basically started playing 6 months ago and are right at the top of the ladder. I find that pretty impressive, not gonna lie.
Yeah, same for me. But you gotta say, players like Slickens, I don't know. He started recently, but possibly he already has more in-game hours than you do.
I mean, that's true. That's definitely true.
Like, I'm pretty sure he already has more games and in-game hours than I do. But he might have overtaken you as well.
Yeah, as in total hours. I mean, I think my total hours is standing around the 3.4. Yeah, actually it's nearly 3.5. I'm saying 3.5. Anyone in the chat who doesn't know exactly what I mean, I'm talking about 3.5 thousand hours played in Legion TD2. I think that qualifies me as a giga nerd, right?
Yeah, I would agree that you are a giga nerd and a weeb.
And a weeb. Wow. I mean, that's a low blow, dude.
I mean, as far as I know, it wasn't a secret to the community.
I mean, it's no secret. I am a massive weeb. Although, in fact, I haven't read manga for a little while. I've been on a little break, you know, a waifu break, if you will.
On a little waifu break.
I'm on a waifu break.
Yeah, did you put your Dakimakura away?
Yeah. My waifu pillow is back in the cupboard. It's had to go for dry cleaning. Like, those stains are really hard to get out, you know.
Oh my god! We're getting into some technical difficulties over here, chat. I think Mr. Pennywise is cutting out.
Yeah. I've got some fun facts on the caster bios, by the way. I don't know if you have had a chance to tune into the stream, but it's very informative, and every single word written on the caster bios is 100% gospel truth. So just throwing that out there for anyone in the chat who's wondering. It is 100% factual.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah, nice. Oh, I think I just disconnected my microphone. 1 second. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I did just pull my earphones out of the socket in my excitement.
Oh, good, man. Yeah, I can see it. I remember those games, and I remember doing with you. Well, we do it quite frequently, and yeah, this is true for sure.
Yeah.
You carry me very hard with your 3-worker till wave 6 openers.
Yeah, I've got to make you work for it, you know.
Yeah,
like if I'm boosting you and just making it obvious by like playing well every game, then it's like really obvious, isn't it? And then all the enemies would know what's going on, and we get reported and blah blah blah. Yeah. But if I give the enemies a chance by doing like a 3-worker till wave 7 angler build, then they don't know it's a boosting operation.
Yeah, the thing is, playing with you is a little bit like in Dragon Ball, where they went to this extreme gravity training center. So after I'm playing with you, and then I get a player that's, I don't know, 500 rating below me, it just feels like he's an absolute animal. He's an absolute god, and games are so easy.
I feel you.
So yeah, you boosted me in that type of way.
Okay. I'm like the Rock Lee ankle weights. I see. I see. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen of the Twitch chat, enough of the filler. Time for the killer. Here we are with match number 1, Steenie and Kyoma versus Toykan and Kid K. Guys, let's get into the game.
Yeah, let's go. I'm already curious what they're gonna pick. If we're gonna see some cash out from Steenie and Kyoma. And if Toykan is gonna show us Fiesta. Oh! No, Toykan 0 balls.
Literally 0 balls on
after
either of them. Yeah. He said he was going to play Fiesta, didn't he? But he has got. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, let me introduce to you Toykan's favourite unit, the Elite Archer, in his role.
He also has a Bone Warrior and an Infiltrator, which goes quite well with it.
Goes very well. And he's got some decent, like, cost-effective... Well, one decent cost-effective tank in the Buckler.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he's got...
And
he didn't take the Bone Warrior.
He has a literal tank in his role as well.
He does. But he didn't take the Bone Warrior. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, honestly. Like, I don't see why he would need a PV. That's just more expensive.
I mean, it's not like he's lacking arcane units or pierce units, is it? So
yeah.
It's a bit of a weird one. I would definitely have taken the Bone Warrior there. But meanwhile, let's have a look at Steenie, because he's playing cash out and he has the Bone Crusher. This is like the dream cash out roll. 6 workers, safe on 2. Like, this is a really solid opener now for Steenie.
Yeah, I think so too. Steenie will have probably 6 workers during wave 1. And he didn't save, which I'm not sure if I like. He could have like really pressured Toykan. Like we've seen Shadow do this as well and go for an extremely aggressive early game that cash out can provide you with, and really make some room for your castle teammate Kiyoma.
Yeah, 100%, dude, 100%. And applying that pressure, just giving Kiyoma like the free reins early, kind of guarantees that Kiyoma can carry easily later, right, when his castle income kicks in. So it's a nice little combo. I've seen Joke and Shadow use this combo pretty well together, and I know that Steenie's been like a cash out main on the ladder as well, so for sure he knows how to play it.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's staying on 5 workers. And
that's surprising to me.
Yeah, same. In that case, I'm not really sure why cash out then?
Yeah, like, is he playing scared, like, because it's a tournament, or what? Like, I'm 100% sure if this was a ladder match, he would be 6 workers on wave 1.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, also if we look at Kiyoma's role, like, enabling him and going for the super late game, I'm not sure if I would be too happy with his role.
It's not an insane role, actually. Like, he's got a very solid early game. Like, you have to say, his early game for the first 10 waves is incredible. He just doesn't have any weak waves. But after like 11 and then 13, 15, he starts to look pretty weak.
Yep, true. Nothing too special. Oh, Toykan is going for the new unit. That's interesting to me. Like, he's very strong building it here, but not as strong on the next wave, I would assume.
I mean, the Sen comes here, so it like has to be perfect for him, right? And this heal value on the Peewee, if it arrives in time, which it doesn't! The Peewee died before it cast the heal!
Yeah, but this is a very comfortable hold. Like, this unit itself does a lot of damage to the wave. And, oh, sadly it tanked, though.
It did tank, and it was attacking the Dragon Turtle, so it was... But I mean, he's too good for this wave.
Yeah, he's full arcane on the other units, and this unit does magic damage. He's very much fine.
And with that, he pushes up to 7 workers, but Steenie has the same. So Toykan and Steenie currently pretty much head-to-head in terms of value and workers. Steenie still does have 1 more income, but Toykan has a little bit more Mythium. So you've got to say those guys are pretty much head-to-head. And for Kiyoma and Kid K, more or less the same.
Yeah, true.
So everything looking fairly stable here. Wave number 4, obviously still early game.
So Kid K was not too aggressive with his push. He's playing it a bit safe. I assume he's gonna go for Disciple here. No, he's not.
Goes with a Wanderer, which I mean is fine in terms of tank. It has to take the aggro for his flower though. But the send is not dangerous, like it's only a dino. He might send the snail as well if he feels like it, but he might just save as well on Kiyoma.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect to see a leak on Kid K here, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, he decided to save, so he couldn't afford the Disciple. But yeah, let's see. This is just a dino, so he should be very much fine.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Toykan and Kid K, they do have a pretty nice chunk of Mythium now, 100 apiece.
Yeah.
When do you think they want to go? Because Kioma with
they want to go for wave 7.
I think 7? I mean, Kioma has the Orchid, right, which is insane on wave 6. But even on 7, we already know he has a gun, and we can see that he has the Badger in his role as well.
Yeah, true.
Wave 6,
yeah,
6.
but if he got like a Mimic on 7, like I think he won't be having a lot of fun.
Maybe.
Like if he went for the Badger, especially.
True. Now, if we have a look at this, now, Kid K, he did not skip income for the second brute, so he's only sending 1 brute and 3 snails, which is obviously much less dangerous than a double brute. So we'll have to see if anything comes of this. And yeah, Kioma, he even boosted the Orchid. That should just be a free hold for him then. There's no way that he's leaking here. Meanwhile, over on this side... So Steenie's doing pretty fine.
I mean, Kioma
he might leak small.
Going for a baby leak.
Well, does he kill the imp? No. Okay, he leaks both imps. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And Steenie actually leaks quite a decent amount there. 2 Roccos and 1 brute. This is going to be some king damage.
Yeah, Taikan is leaking the Cannoneer.
Oh, that was good. He just got the final Rocco there in Toykan's.
Yeah.
But with the new double buffed king, this is much less dangerous than it would have been a couple of patches ago. Look at that, only 13% damage, and that was 5 units reaching the king there.
Yeah. Well, with the buffed king, it's only 13% damage.
Absolutely insane, dude.
Could have been 30.
King's been to the gym.
For sure, man. He's been deadlifting you for a while.
Hello? Sorry, what?
You heard me.
There's a resend.
I mean, the only thing he added, Kioma added here was an
Oathbreaker. Yeah.
But I think he's just gonna be fine, right?
I mean, the brute is not perfect at killing the Orchid, obviously, and now it's getting focused as well, so it won't even be able to slow down the gun. I mean, this is either going to be like the world's smallest leak or just a full hold from Kioma.
It's just so frustrating to see for it to be sniped. Like, there should be no reason for that to happen there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just lucky, I guess, isn't it? It must have been like an Oathbreaker bounce onto the brute or something that brought it below 100%, but... Yeah, and Steenie should be able to cover this mid as well, so they're not going to get any more king damage out of this, and I think Kyoma's happy with that. But actually, he's not pushing workers off the send. He's staying on 8.
Yeah. I mean, we're going for some overbuild and starve, I assume?
Overbuild and starve.
But the sends are coming out. But he's not pushing. I'm not sure why.
There is a resend here from Toykan, so I guess... In that case, Kioma will be rewarded for not pushing any workers.
Yeah. I mean, but while not pushing, he's minus 60, which is not a lot under. I guess it's just the castle income while having saved. Like, he's sending 200 here. So, he will be able to push a lot more now.
That's a mole, Green. It's a mole.
Yeah, it's
and Kid K has Aquas. Oh no.
Yeah,
he does have the Disciple though, which means he has got some capability of actually killing a mole, and that might just be enough for him. That and the fact that he has over 1,000 value might just be enough.
It might help that he's just minus 25. So that he can hold wave 8 against the mole, even with Aquas.
Even with Aquas. Meanwhile, though, Steenie, income broken there. The Drake making its way to the king. Or to the mid, anyway.
Yeah, Steenie is going for a little bit of a leak.
That is what we in the business call a bit of a leak.
Exactly. I mean, it's just 1% king damage, but it's some decent economic damage.
Yeah, they sneak the Drake through. They get a little bit of extra gold, take a bit away from Steenie. We'll call that a win for Toykin and Kid K, especially when Kid K actually fully held the Mole and Hermit there that Kiyomi had been saving for quite a while.
And that sets Kiyomi behind. Like, sure, he has castle. He is supposed to be behind,
but we see it here. Like
that really hurt him. Yeah,
he's comfortably behind. I think the Hermit was post income as well, so like, he saved a couple of waves and didn't get any damage at all done to Kid K. So that's a pretty big win in terms of Toykin and Kid K now.
Yeah, true. And I mean, Kid K is staying overvalued. He doesn't want to leak too much on 10 and be prepared for 11.
Yeah.
The possible overwork set, I suppose. Which I kind of like that he's playing it on the safer side there, since they are ahead.
Yeah, like there's no need to risk it, right? If you're already ahead, you're happy to just keep trading blows back and forth. Like you don't need to go for any desperation play.
Yeah, and you don't have to aggressively overpush.
Yeah.
Right.
You just don't need to take risks, basically.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Steenie and Kiyomi, I think they are behind, so they might decide they need to go for a bit of a risky play at some point, like a long save or a hard worker push.
Yeah, but what I kind of dislike this time, recently Kiyomi and Steenie were going for this very coordinated long saves, but right now they are not really going for a break on both guys. Like now Steenie is trying to break Toykan on one of his strongest waves.
But Kiyomi's just income sending.
Understand. Yeah, and Kiyomi is just income sending, while Kid K actually is weak here.
Right? Yeah, Toykin's actually insanely strong on this wave. I don't understand the full send at all.
He has great tanks with the bucklers, and he has the Trinity Archer.
And even a small archer as well.
Yeah, and the new unit is not to underestimate here either. Like, it's healing up your tanks, which is quite strong.
There's a hold there from Toykin. Kiyomi does go for a bit of a leak, as does Steenie and Kid K. So, wow, I mean, this was a double Dino King ups, and this was 7 snails there. So
this will be a nice chunk of damage on the Steenie on Kiyomi.
Even post Gym King.
Even post Gym King, exactly. Yeah, well, Kid K and Toykan are still at full HP King, and they are both on fire now.
Yeah,
best mechanic ever made.
And by quite some margin as well. Like Toykin's on a 50 gold shutdown, Kid K on 25.
Yep.
But that is before Kiyomi's Castle Power Spike kicks in, because that only really registers on wave 12. So Kiyomi, like, his power score is quite far behind now, but that will catch up some next wave.
I mean, and he might be catching up more in the following waves, because he has the highest income in the game now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still like quite noticeably.
He has the highest income, but it's worth pointing out that he's actually by far behind in workers compared to Toykin, and even a little bit behind Kid K as well. Like, so he has the highest income now, but after the next send, because he just is generating that much less Mythium, he'll be behind again.
Yeah, true.
When do we expect the send to come, by the way? 13, maybe 14?
It's hard to tell. Like, I think against Toykan and Kid K, when I would look at their builds right now, 14 seems like a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, Toykin does have this, like, he can veteran there as well. I know, like, the bucklers obviously look very weak on 14, but the fact that you have double Elite Archer and veteran potential means you can just be an absolute god on 14 if you want to be.
Yeah, true. True.
And we know that he has Doomsday as well. Like, obviously, Steenie and Kiyomi don't know that yet.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, because he has the possibility to be strong on either of those ways.
Yeah. Well, there he goes for the Millennium here. So now he can even have the Doomsday on 13 if he wants to.
Yeah, now they know.
Yeah. Now they know, yeah, they probably know now.
Well, I sure hope so. But you can never be too sure.
And meanwhile, against Kilmer and Steenie, like 14 is looking really good against Steenie. It's not looking bad against Kilmer, and actually they do save. So Steenie and Kilmer, they go for a send here. There is a Ghost Knight there from Steenie, obviously sending against the Doomsday that Toykin was threatening, but Toykin's actually not going for the Doomsday. He's upgrading.
He doesn't have that much tank value, so I think it's the right call for him to not go for the Doomsday.
But he needs to spend his... Oh, he is going for the Doomsday. He's just selling things for it, though.
Ah, yeah, I see.
Then the Ghost Knight is really good from Steenie, but actually, no, the Ghost Knight goes right.
I mean, the Archer is also quite strong against the Ghost
Knight.
Yeah,
the Archer is very good against the Ghost Knight, but it can't really focus it.
Yeah, and it goes right, so the left side will just die super fast.
Yeah, everything on the left already dead by the time the Ghost Knight comes back over. And now it's getting focused, of course. So it will take like 100 years for the Doomsday to be able to chew through the Ghost Knight, but there it goes. And is this even just going to be a full hold from Toykin? I think it is.
Yeah, he's holding extremely comfortably.
He's going to have a whole Doomsday left alive. Meanwhile, on Kid K, that is a hold as well. And now Toykin and Kid K, they go for the counterplay here on 14. So we have a double Ogre come out from Toykin. We have a Pack Leader Mole from Kid K. And as I was saying, like, Steenie just... He looks really weak here. Like he has no damage.
Incredibly weak here,
yeah, he has no damage. I think we could...
Yoma is not bad, but he's just so much undervalued that he's not going to be able to hold.
I mean, yeah, he's not bad.
I mean, he has iron scales.
He has one iron scales, he has one small badger, and then of course he has the gun for damage.
Yeah, I think the big Badaboyo gun.
Kilmer definitely has a chance to do well here with those units. But it's still a big send, you know, 460 is 460.
Yeah. I mean, I expect him to leak here, even though he's strong here, in my opinion. The two ogres are just too good.
It's too much, yeah. They chew through the badges pretty quickly. One of them is dead, though.
Yeah.
And actually, most of the wave. So now his gun gets attacked. So he is going to leak, but he's doing pretty well.
Yeah. But I mean, he
Steenie
was
79, Kilmer 59, and the forfeit comes out. And I think that they are dead, right? So I think it's a good call.
Dead. Yeah.
But well played, Toykin and Kid K, clearly proving to us the power of being drunk.
Yeah. Clearly proving us the power of doping.
Doping in esports, dude.
Exactly.
Alright, let me just have a quick flick through some of the waves and we can try and identify the turning point. I mean, if you look at the graph, Toykin and Kid K were just ahead for like the entire game.
Oh, absolutely.
And the advantage just grew further and further. If we scroll through some of the waves, obviously we saw Steenie not going for 6 workers on wave 1, which I think was a mistake, because I think that kind of throws away the whole point of picking cash out then. Like,
absolutely.
With cash out, you want that very, very strong early game aggression, and Steenie, whether he was just feeling a bit cautious because it's tournament play or what he was thinking there, decided to play it safe, and I think ultimately paid the price for that.
Yeah, I mean, overall it was just a bit, I don't know, a strange early game from the side of Steenie and Kioma.
And Steenie and Kioma both leaking on wave 6, despite being like really high value. Obviously it wasn't much and they took very little damage, but it's still a leak. And then Kioma leaking against the resend, Steenie leaking to the income on wave 8. But really the big point there was that Kioma went for a save from wave 5 all the way until wave 8 with his Mole Hermit send. And Kid K just fully held there. And I think that was really the big turning point, because Kioma was starving himself to make that play, and Kid K just fully held. Like, they didn't get any damage done, and even managed to sneak a Drake through Steenie's defenses as well. Yeah. So,
I mean, I gotta give it to Kid K as well. He played pretty good. Kioma tried to pressure him. He sent him only a snail on 3, and then he went for a 5 cent, and then went straight 8. Yeah. And while doing so, Kid K was leaking Steenie 2 times. Like once on 6 and once on 8. Huh? And I don't know, it was just less coordinated than normally by Steenie and Kioma.
Yeah, like, I feel like Steenie and Kioma are normally playing better than this, right?
Yeah, you were saying those were small leaks on wave 6. That's true, but even those small leaks, they really add up, because that gives KitK and Toykan some gold for the next wave.
Yeah, true.
While Toykan's leak just doesn't matter. Like, it gives way less gold to Stini and Kioma.
True.
But yeah, I'm curious if they're gonna play differently in the following game.
I'd like to see more of their kind of LAHL style gameplay, you know, where they're going for that really coordinated, really big, dangerous, and
same.
Maybe that playstyle's been nerfed a little bit. You know, now that the King is so much stronger in the early game.
Yeah, true, but then I don't know. Then don't save that much to then go. I don't know. Just mix it up, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
there certainly seemed to be quite a rough game there for Stini and Kioma, I think. Like,
yeah,
Toykan and KitK, they were pretty comfortably ahead from start to finish, I have to say.
Yep, that's true.
So let's see. Do you think Kioma and Stini can bring it back? I mean, they definitely can, right?
They have the ability to do so. I mean, they are not a team for long, as far as I know, but they should have more experience together than Toykan and KitK.
Yeah.
And we've seen Kioma and Stini perform decently already, so I don't know. I'm a fan of seeing 3 games, so I'm kind of hoping for a win on their side in this one.
Yeah, same here, actually. Like, it's always better for the viewers and the casters when games go the distance, and obviously it just shows that the teams are closely matched, right? So if we can get Kioma and Stini at least a win here, then we get to go the distance, and then after that, I'm kind of happy with whoever wins the series.
Yeah, same. And there we go for our next match.
All right, ladies and gentlemen in the Twitch chat, we are underway to game number 2. There is a current 1-0 advantage on the side of Toykan and KitK, but here we are, guys. Game number 2.
Let's go. Well, what do you think? Will Toykan grow some balls and pick something else than Greed now?
Stini's back on cash out. Let's just have a look at Toykan's balls.
Oh,
they are tiny. They're absolutely minuscule.
Those are the tiniest balls in the Netherlands.
Have you got your microscope, Green? Have you got your microscope?
I mean, I have it, but I still can't see them.
I still can't see them. That's insane.
It's insane. Like, this man was shit-talking everyone that picks Greed, saying how boring it is, playing
and yet, here he is.
Yep.
Game number 2 with a 1-0 advantage, shamelessly picking Greed here in the Nova Cup.
Yep.
Toykan, for shame on you. Absolute shame on you, Toykan. I am not impressed. Not
Could
impressed.
Could have gotten all the +4s in the world, but he didn't.
I'd have been so happy if Toykan played Fiesta.
Yep.
But he just didn't have the balls, you know?
Yeah.
Just couldn't find them.
I mean, I was hoping for it, but yeah.
Right.
I was disappointed once in my life already. Now I'm disappointed again.
We have Shatini's going for a Bounty Hunter opener, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. I would probably prefer like an Angler and a Shroom or something like this, but you know how I play.
You have no idea. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. My win rate with Bounty Hunter opener is insane. And
yeah, but that's because I boost you, right? So your win rate is always going to be insane if you've got me there to boost you. But we see Kioma and Stini go for a save here on wave 1. They don't want to go for the King Ups or the Snails. So let's see.
Do you see this?
Yeah.
It's already GG. They won.
The Elite Archer. We are a fan of the Elite Archer at the moment. It's a pretty solid unit.
It is extremely strong, yes.
All right. So when do Kioma and Stini want to send, though? Because Toykan and KitK, they're actually just really strong for the first, 4 waves. Wave 5 is maybe the first danger point.
Wave 5, yeah. Maybe after the first game, and they listened to what we were saying, and they thought to themselves, hey, let's go for the long saves.
Yeah. I mean, Kid K, he does have options on 5 there with the Orchid potential, but he would have to read it, and he would have to shift then on wave 4 to make that happen.
I mean, Toykan is safely covering 4, right?
Yeah, Toykan's a god on 4.
Yeah, so it's not as risky anymore.
But there's no way, like, Kid K doesn't leak 3, right? Oh, here comes the Send, though. Huh. So there's Lizard there. Steenie can Brute if he wants to, but he just goes for a Fiend, so they're not expecting to leak. I guess they're just taking the pressure then. Like, they're not sending on 1, and it has kept Toykan and Kid K down on 4 workers, which I guess is something. But they have paid a bit of gold for that privilege, you know? They didn't get any income on wave 2. They're not going to get any leaks here, I'm pretty certain. So they're definitely not getting leaks here.
Yeah, both are holding for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, at the same time, it's forcing Kid K into kind of a weird build, I would say.
That's definitely a weird build. Like, you don't really want to have
the veteran.
No, like, that's not great for him, really, on any wave, especially like 5 and 6, where the Archer's weak. Having the veteran there is just so much worse than having an Infiltrator or an Orchid, right?
Yep. But I mean, I think he could have just built the Infiltrator, but it would have also been awkward if he decided to add more Pee-wees as well. So I don't know. So this is rather a misplay than an accomplishment of the staff, I would say.
Very true.
But it got them something, I guess.
We do see Steenie staying on 5 workers. He adds another Angler here. So he wants to start farming those stacks in the early game, which is understandable, but it has kept him on very low workers, which I think Kid K should be able to take advantage of.
He's on 5 workers. That's 2 more workers than you would have.
It's at least double the number of workers that I would have.
You would have the Wild Room and like 5 anglers right now.
Yeah. True. But I would also be sending snails every wave just to make sure that I was inting you as hard as possible.
I mean, that was simply assumed, right?
Yeah.
And we see a leak here.
A bit of a leak.
Bioma. Yeah. But it's just a small pro leak.
And that's it, just even more stacks for Steenie's Angler. Oh, I love the new sound effects, by the way.
my game's not too loud, so I haven't heard that.
Oh, you need to turn up the sound effects. The new sound effects that the community voice people have put in are really something special.
I see. I mean,
let me click the lizard. Beautiful.
Take my spear. Yeah, I mean, some of them are truly funny. Is the ogre just farting, or?
I would have to hear it again to remember. Hopefully we get an ogre send so that we can check.
I see. I mean, you rarely have 200 lithium with those 3 workers. So I
mean, that's true.
I understand.
Well, I think Kjolma might be going for a bit of a leak.
Yeah. But how would you assess the strength of Kid K on the 6th wave?
On the 6th wave? Out of, like, if I was rating him out of 10, maybe a 2?
And Toykan?
But he will have an antler, though, and the antler will raise that 2 to at least a 5.
Yeah.
Steenie goes for a leak as well, so he's not going to be able to benefit from Kjolma's stacks.
Ah, that's true.
And there will be some king damage here on the 5th wave.
Yep. But I think they might get some decent king damage in return there.
Yeah, this is a long wave while they say this is going to be like...
They are still going.
Imp plus brutes, maybe? But why the imps from Steenie? Like, if you look at Kid K, everything he shows is arcane.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but I guess the reasoning is the following. The wave is already extremely strong damage-wise against anything that Kid K has.
Yeah.
So he wants to counter what Kid K might build. So the imps are the most efficient damage against nature and swift, compared to a brute, for example.
And he's getting mega rewarded for that because there was an antler coming out from Kid K, and both imps are immediately attacking it. Oh no, and Kid K with the positioning on his Pilgrim, it dies after only casting once.
That's really bad for him.
Yeah.
And Tolkien is going for a decent leak as well.
He is.
Sneaking 3 creeps.
So we have new unit there, but that's 3 units plus Brute, and this is 1 Rocker, 1 Brute, and 2 Imps.
And those are the coordinated sends that we were talking about. Sure, they leaked 5, but in the end it was not too much damage, since Steamy leaked only small. And that just gave them more time.
And this is a significant chunk of king damage here on wave 6 in return. So I think this is the kind of play that we were expecting from Kilmer and Steeny in game 1. But this is definitely the way they need to play if they want to bring this series to a 1-1.
Yeah, and even though our king was on a bulking cycle, this still did 47% damage to him.
Yeah. So now 1 more decent leak and the game's just over.
Yeah. Yeah. Now they're in 1-shot range.
Yeah. Nicely played, Steeny and Kilmer. This is what we like to see.
Yeah. Do you think we will see some try-hard stuff to 11 now?
I mean, there's no aggressive spell, which would make that more appealing. And there is a defensive spell there. Like, it's only Protector, which is maybe not the best defensive spell. But...
Yeah, but before that, I don't see it happening. I don't see them as being weak enough on 9 and 10.
I could see Toykan leaking pretty well on 9. Kid K is not amazing. Like, the only chance Kid K has really is to upgrade his Pilgrim. Yeah, if he gets a Chieftain, then he's okay. But even then, like, he has very little damage, you know.
The Chieftain himself.
And Toykan and Kid K, they're kind of playing into the hands of Kilmer and Steeny here because they go for those income sends every wave, and that just means that Kilmer and Steeny, they're not under any pressure here. And they can just do whatever they want, really. Now, I don't like this from Steeny. Like, he's built a Leviathan here that is only buffing 1 canopy.
Yeah,
he could upgrade the Angler because that's capped out on mana, so he could start getting the stacks on the Bounty Hunter.
Also, 2 Tempests should just be better.
2 Tempests would just be better, yeah. It would just be... But you could also have just done, like, the Bounty Hunter upgrade and 1 Tempest or something like that. I think would have just been
absolutely.
a straight up a better decision there.
Like, Kioma and Steeny were at the same workers as Toykan and Kid K.
Yeah. But now they're going to start to take the lead.
Yeah, well, Toykan and Kid K just keep sending.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have some form of advantage to be sending like that.
Yeah.
In terms of workers, which they don't have. This is just making it quite easy for them.
Well, here's the Ogre, so let's hear him fart.
They're going for the send.
Oh, Kioma leaking here as well.
This is just perfect.
The perfect +4 there.
Did you hear the fart?
Yeah, the Ogre's definitely farting. Like, he's been eating something that didn't agree with him. And he's about to take it out on Toykan and Kid K.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
filthy, absolutely
Toykan
filthy.
can just get 2 hardened mutments, I guess, but...
I mean, that's pretty solid. Now, Kid K, he goes for the bunk, which I actually don't like here. I think the Chieftain would have been so much better.
Yeah, but the issue is that...
I think the Chieftain would have buffed the Archer, wouldn't it? Yeah, so that would have made it trash. If it was a Chieftain buffing an Antler, then maybe.
I mean, he simply made the mistake of getting the Trinity Archer, I think.
Yeah, like not realizing that wave 9 was their weak wave.
Yeah, he
building
already
for
had
8.
Peewees and the Archer. Like, he should have seen it coming.
He could have just made the Chieftain last wave and then decided what he wanted to buff with it on this wave.
Yeah.
But because of this, he's going to leak pretty badly. And if we have a look over at Toykan, he did have those 2 Mudmen, but look at this. Like, this is just a DPS Mudman over on the right there.
True. And, like, having the Chieftain on 8 isn't really that much weaker than having a Trinity Archer, because it's buffing the Archer and doing incredible damage. And these are 2 Ogres on the 9th
But they don't die here, though. They're still in the game.
They don't die here, but look at them chomping on that.
Yeah. And there's no, like, Savior or something in the game to bring the HP up, or like a Dark Ritual that would just be super high value at this kind of King HP.
Yeah.
They keep sending as well. Now, Kilmer, he has been leaking the last few waves because he has, like, pushed, I think for the first time in his life, like, Kilmer's actually pushed workers. So he's only on 1200 value here for wave 10, minus 105 behind recommended, and might just possibly leak here to the resend. Although, with his Alpha Male, with his Disciple, with his Daphne on the board, I think he might just do fine.
Yeah, he doesn't have too much tank value, but I think he's just fine.
Only 3 snails as well, so I think he should do just fine.
Yeah. He has units that are very good on this wave, so...
And because of this resend as well, by the way, like Steenie and Kilmer, again, we pointed this out before, but they can just do whatever they want now. Like, the ball is firmly in their court. They can save, they can send, they can embargo if they want to embargo. They're not under any pressure on wave 12.
I think embargo 13 is pretty...
Yeah, here it comes. The double embargo play from Kilmer and Steenie. Toyken has read it, though, so he knows the send is coming on 13+. So he takes embargo, and so does Kid K, which I think is probably the best thing they could have done here, really, on Toyken and Kid K.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, though, if Kilmer and Steenie, like, read that and just went for a big balls to the wall wave 12 send?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that as well. Like, full push on wave 10 already, like from the wave gold, and then go for pro league here while having full push. That would be quite a decent comeback play, I think.
It would be an interesting play.
Yeah.
But like
but
this...
yeah, I don't really... Kid K rolled some answers for 13.
Oh, nice. He rolled 2 very good answers for 13, actually.
Yep. But, I mean, he has solutions for the wave, but I'm curious what he's gonna go for. His biggest issue is that he doesn't really have that much tank value, and all his solutions are kind of, in need of tanks, I would say.
Look at this, Steenie just barely holding here.
Yeah. Which is great for them.
I would love to see him pro league, is what I mean. Like, if he was able to like go for that super long wave while they have the worker advantage, because they have a lot more workers actually on the side of Kilmer and Steenie. And they have so much Mythium as well. Like, they already have 350 each. They're about to get plus 80 from the embargo. Send is going to be huge.
And look at this, like, Kid K is already 230 under, while not being too great. Toykan also has, like, a doppel as a tank for 13, which
I think Toykan just needs...
kind of wrong, right?
He just needs way more tank value, doesn't he? Like,
yeah,
he looks like he's got a proper glass cannon build. Like, what would you call that kind of build if he just had too much damage and not enough tanks? Like, is there a name for that kind of build?
I think this type of build is known as a Shitini build.
It's a Steenie build, right? So maybe if anyone knows how to play against a Steenie build, it has to be Steenie.
Yeah, and he will tell Kioma exactly how to send against it.
Yeah, and it looks like a Kraken is the answer. And that, I think, is a pretty decent answer. Like, if Toykan goes for his Hades here, then the Kraken is just devastating. If he goes for another Doppelganger, it's less good, but here's the Hades. This Kraken is just going to absolutely ruin his day.
It's literally a Steenie build. Look at this build.
Yeah.
It's like, do you have 13? Yeah, I got a Doppel and the Hades, dude.
I'll be fine.
Let's go.
I'll be fine.
Oh, look at this man. He has like 3 Mudmen and some fucking Chain Fists.
Well, he did just add the fist there to pull the Kraken right, but that's actually worse for him. It's worse for him because now the Hades is on it and the Doppel is on the wave.
Yeah.
And now the Kraken's just going to come and kill his Hades. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, Kid K is just not holding either, even though
this is game.
He has no tank value either.
This is game. Yeah, so well played, Steenie and Kilmer.
All over.
So we wanted to see a game 3, and Steenie and Kilmer, they have delivered. They played so much better this game. This is what I was expecting to see out of them in game 1, and they just didn't seem to be in their rhythm. But this time around, like, these guys are playing way better in game number 2.
A lot better. And actually, I expected them to win the first game already, to be honest, because I expected Toykan and Kid K to be going for this incumbent king type of play that we see often from Toykan. I kind of did expect him to not take this seriously and go for that again, as he did in this game. And if you do that, the game goes this way.
Now, Toykan and Kid K, they were actually ahead for a decent chunk of the game. Like, if you look at the graph, they were ahead between wave 3 and wave 10.
Yeah, but they were maybe ahead in terms of power score or maybe in terms of net worth, but they were not dictating the game.
They were never dictating the pace of the game, right? Absolutely,
at no point in games, so it's hard to measure it like that, right? Because they were taking the king damage, and they were never the ones deciding when the next cent is gonna be.
Yeah.
Like,
and Steenie and Kilmer, they just kept their foot on the neck of Toykan and Kid K the whole game. Like, they went straight wave 3, so they didn't king up on 1. So already Toykan and Kid K had to stay 4 workers. Then they went for the big 6 end with the 160 each, and that was some decent king damage there, like bringing them down to half HP. Then they went straight wave 9, and to be fair, Toykan and Kid K, they held pretty well on 9. Like, that could have just been game, but they actually pulled it out of the bag and just about stayed alive. But again, Kilman and Steenie, because they're just getting these in-gun king sends every wave, they're never under any pressure. So like you say, they're just completely in control, in the driving seat the whole way through the game, and they can just pretty much end whenever they want to. And they decided that they wanted to end on wave 13, with this 560 send from both, and just really well played there from Kilmer and Steenie. Fair play, those guys.
Yeah, absolutely agree. They played that one quite clean. But yeah, as I said, it's just hard to measure who is ahead in those type of terms. Like, from my perspective, Steenie and Kioma were ahead from the start. I don't know, constantly had the upper hand.
They 100% were, and I just think that these guys, like, it was like watching a different team in game number 2. I was almost a bit disappointed in their performance game 1, like, because I think they can play so much better than that, and they showed us in game number 2 that they can. You know, like they played like a top tier team this time around. So well played, those guys.
I mean, maybe they asked themselves, what would a season 8 legend do?
Well, I mean, you got to ask those kind of questions, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you ask yourself that, you figure out new strategies.
You'll just find the answer. you just got to look inside yourself and ask, what would a season 8 legend player do? Exactly.
Yeah,
fair play. So Kilmer, Steenie, bringing the series to a 1-1, and the players are just asking for a quick break in between games. So we've got a little bit more time to fill. Mr. GreenSpirit, can you tell me a joke?
A joke. Gameplay.
Very good. That was quick, dude.
Yep. Well,
I guess if you were to say something so devastating to me like that, the only possible comeback I would have is no, you.
Well, that's a typical comeback from you, and as we all know, no, you is just irrecoverable.
I mean, that's just the end. That's end of story, right? The argument's over.
So I just kind of have to concede at this point.
It's the only way. It is the only.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the next game? Like,
I mean, I think if Kilmer and Steenie keep up the way they were playing from game number 2, they're pretty much definitely going to win in game 3. But just because of the inconsistency, like in terms of how game 1 played out, I'm not going to rule out Kid K and Toykan. I also think I haven't seen enough of Kid K, but Toykan, I do have a lot of faith in his ability as a player. And I think, like, maybe if he's had a bit of coffee and sobered up some, then maybe he can pull this one out of the bag. But yeah, just on the strength of game number 2, I'm gonna call it for Kilmer and Steenie this time around.
Yeah, same. Like, the performance of Kilmer and Steenie in the second game was more convincing to me than the performance of Toykan and Kid K in the first game. So, from what I've seen just in this series, I would give it to Kioma and Stini. Yeah. So, I don't know. Toykan and Kid K really have to step it up in this one to make it interesting for us.
I mean, guys and dolls, ladies and gents, here we go. We're about to answer that question that you've all been wondering. Who will win game number 3, Kioma and Stini or Kid K and Toykan? Because here we go, game number 3 is underway.
So let's see if Toykan will find his balls.
Stini and Kioma both on cash out this time around. And Kid K and Toykan both on cartel. Ooh. Okay, interesting.
They're going for the aggressive option. I mean, there is Lizard Army in the game, which supports that, but there's also Sacrifice in the game, which makes it hard to like, I don't know,
to go for a kill on 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Sacrifice is one of the best spells to hold like a big 11 send, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lone might be better, but with Sacrifice, like if you look at Toykan's roll, for example, and he has Yuzora, which is obviously trash on 11 and 12, but let's say they're getting that big giant snail send, he can just sacrifice his Yuzora, turn it into a Lord of Death, or even a Hades. So like Sacrifice is just insane value for like clutch holding on one wave.
Absolutely, and I'm not sure if I would say that Lone is better. Like, just imagine how flexible you are with Sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's not... I mean, 200 extra value is nice, but if you have, I don't know...
If you can turn, like, 400 bad value into 400 insane value, it's got to be better, right?
Yeah, it's like 400 dead value to 400 insane value is just such an extreme swing.
Yeah.
And the biggest advantage is also that you are getting worse sends, since the enemy might be sending in what you have, but you're gonna surprise them with something that they would normally counter, but they just can't.
Yeah.
You just pull it out as a surprise.
True. Now I'm kind of interested to see how quickly they can pull ahead with Cartel versus Cash Out. Because obviously the cash out gold is 22 gold?
Yeah, I think so by now.
And Cartel is going to catch up to that by the time Wave 4 has started. So we really need to see that aggression coming out from Kioma and Stini. And Stini is on 3 workers because he went for the Holy Avenger start.
So I really dislike that.
I also dislike it a lot, actually, because I know, like, if you do Graal into Avenger, then you're losing 15 gold. But by doing this, he's announced to Toykan that he has no workers, he has no pressure, and he even sent that king up on 1 as well, right? So Toykan just easy 5 workers there, like he's under absolutely no pressure whatsoever from Stini, who he's going to snail as well. Like, I think Toykan just goes 7 workers after this.
I mean, easily. I mean, he's lucky that Toykan is playing an opener that can't abuse it more.
Yeah, like if Toykan was on like Crusher or something, then this game would pretty much be over already. Like,
with other openers, he could be 6 workers already and then push 7 or 8, depending on what he got.
Okay, so we're going to have an easy hole coming out there from Toykan. Stini couldn't even send 40 if he wanted to here because his opener was that slow.
Yep. Yeah, Kioma is saving up on Kid K.
Kioma is being aggressive as well, so he has those 6 workers. He's going to hold the snail send here from Toykan, obviously, with his flower. Doesn't decide to go for 7 workers, though. And Toykan does. So now we see one player starting to pull ahead. Although Stini matches that, actually, so...
Yep. I mean, he can freely do so, right? He's got an Avenger.
He has got an Avenger.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward for Kioma. Yeah, he saw the PV to get the Berserker here. Because else he would have had to build a second flower.
That kind of hurts, though. Like, selling the Peewee, you're already losing 10 gold, right? Now that's pretty much the whole... Well, it's like half of the value he got from picking cash out in the first place, isn't it? So... So now the Cartel... I mean, this is wave 4, right? Which is like the magic break-even wave for Cartel versus Cash Out. And Kioma had to sell a Peewee for -10.
Yep.
So economically, Kid K and Toykan, they're already ahead now after this.
Yep.
Regardless of whether Kyoma holds.
Holding after pushing 6 workers.
Yeah.
And he's holding comfortably.
Kid K is now on 8.
To 8 workers, yeah. But I mean...
But Steenie and Kyoma, they match. They're both on 8 as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know, like, Kyoma was sending 80 here, though. So there has to be an economic advantage on the side of Kid K and Toykan.
Yeah. Now, Toykan's building a few too many steeds for my liking, I'd have to say.
Sorry?
Toykan's building a few too many steeds for my liking. Like they're kind of garbage units.
They will only be useful to him when he gets an LOD, which should not be too soon.
They're support units, right? Which means their stats are just lower than like every other unit in the game. So when you have more than one steed in the early game that isn't buffing anything, it's just dead value in your lane, pretty much.
Yeah, I would have preferred to see a work over the steed, and Kid K didn't add any. Oh wow,
Kid K was being so aggressive there. 360 value, obviously strong with a priestess, but the mask that normally pairs, mask is just 0 tank value. So where mask normally pairs really well with priestess, on wave 5 is a different story because the priestess can actually die, especially if it gets ascend.
Oh yeah, like if he just had one buckler, which he doesn't have in his role.
Yeah, but any kind of melee tank basically.
Yeah, even like a really cheap one.
Yeah.
It would look completely different.
It would just never die. Like it's impossible to leak a priestess if they have any kind of tank.
So aggressively, like he's 130 below.
I love to see it actually. But his priestess, I think, is just gonna die here. Like, I think there's so no way it holds here.
And he would have to sell 2 masks to adjust his split.
I think there's no way he can adjust his split though. It's always going to be a 3-3 split here. Now the 3 on the right are going to waste a lot of time, and he's actually quite lucky that the lizard went that way and now attacks the red mask.
Oh yeah, he was. Like,
but still, the priestess can't. Oh, it does kill the lizard. He's getting pretty lucky.
Yeah, but he's still leaking 4 creeps.
Still leaking. Steenie though. Steenie 94%. I didn't see that one coming.
Holy shit!
But he's 380 value here on wave number 6. He shifted for the sovereign, yeah.
Ooh, but Kid K also kept pushing.
There's too many leaks. I can't cast this many leaks. Can't they think about the poor casters?
Yes, yeah, like a leak on every wave.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. Wave 6, 38% Kyoma, 94% Steenie, 67 Kid K, and 50 Toykan. This is a real Fiesta game right here.
Oh, absolutely.
And here comes the resend, by the way, from Kid K and Toykan.
And they're going for the full send. But Steenie is just going for
Steenie's going to have his sovereign, yeah. So he's absolutely fine. He's never leaking again. And Kyoma even had the Millennium. So both Kyoma and Steenie, despite the fact they were playing pretty risky on 6, they obviously didn't expect to send there. And why would you? Because there was Berserker showing, there was Avenger showing. But Kid K and Toykan, they just went for those income sends and got really big leaks out of them.
Yeah. But I don't know where they're resending Brutes. Did they expect Kyoma and Steenie to push a worker?
I mean, obviously they didn't read their opponents well enough because there's going to be massive leaks here.
Yeah, they didn't come prepared. They really didn't come prepared to this match. You can see it by this.
Yeah, so easy holds now for Kyoma and Steenie.
Extremely comfortably holding, yeah.
And now they can push workers. Now they can push those workers that they didn't push on 6 with interest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious how much they're gonna push. If they're gonna...
They're full pushing. Both Kyoma and Steenie, they both push after income as well, which is the right decision.
Oh yeah, absolutely agree. But they're still behind in workers. So, the thing is, Kid K had some nice aggression with his workers. But, I don't know, like, he's still undervalued, and he will leak very decently when Kyoma decides to send him, no matter when. Like, his only tanks are the Sand Badger and the Boar.
Yeah.
He will build the Boar for the next wave, but...
Oh, it's such an awkward role, though. Like, Boar and Priestess is so hard to work together because you always want your Priestess to tank some
think it's
creeps.
very, very good, to be honest.
Really?
Like, yes. I think it pairs very well with each other. Like the same. It's kind of the same way that Zeus used to work, just with better early game push.
But then you're saying that you're like not letting the Priestess tank. What?
You're letting her tank. You can put the boars onto the split, and it's kind of your late game transition, right? At some point, you just don't want the Priestess to tank anymore. On 17, she can tank what? One creep. On wave 18, you don't really want to let her tank.
Yeah.
I mean, and on wave 19, at the very least, you just don't want to let her tank, so you can give up your split.
True. Alright, now I like to see Toykan shifting the gold here despite being under pressure. That's a very good call. He knows that he needs to have the big gun on wave 10 to be able to hold Kid K, who is, I think you could politely call his lane garbage on wave 10.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Toykan was really not great here, so they kind of decided that Kid K is holding and covering here.
Yeah.
And Toykan is going for the wave 10 hold because Kid K has no way to hold there.
Well, here comes the sends. We've got Ogres and Brute as well coming out from Kyoma. Steenie has a chunk of Mythium. He's probably going to reach another 80 if he wants to send 80. Now, Toykan, he does get the Vulcan Cannon, of course,
and
he's got some decent tank.
Yeah, he also does build the mask, which I like. I just wanted to point out that his gun might die, but he's fixing that. I think it dies without the mask.
Even with the gun, though, he's not amazing because, like, he has one real tank, and then he has just some trash.
This garbage. Yeah. But I mean, he's getting the Imp Scent as well.
Let's just have a quick look at Toykan's lane. Will he kill the boss? Now that Alphamale is dead, obviously the steeds last for roughly 2 seconds after. This is going to be a big leak on Toykan and Kid K, who we thought Toykan was meant to be the one covering, because Kid K just has absolutely nothing for wave 10. These are big leaks reaching the king now. This is going to be a chunk of damage. They do have max king attack, which is one thing in their favour.
Yep. Yeah, let's see how buffed up the king is.
I mean, buffed or no, this is still 2 bosses, 2 ogres, and imps on wave 10.
Yeah, but everything was damaged.
It was damaged.
This still sets them to quite a low amount of king HP.
Quite a low amount of HP. But now Toykan and Kid K have the worker lead. Somehow they've managed to pull that one out of the bag.
I mean, they were playing Cartel.
They were, yeah.
They obviously needed to have a worker lead by now, but they're not really ahead enough in the game. Like, they're not really ahead overall.
They're way behind in terms of value as well.
Yeah. If you like,
they have that worker lead, but they're so far behind in value, like 300 value behind, pretty much.
And from now on, it's only gonna go downhill for them. So I don't really see them pulling through here. So when do you think Kyoma and Steenie are looking to close out the game?
I mean, again, the ball is just in their court, right? They can kind of do as they wish. I would probably expect a 13 send, because Toykan's like absolute trash there from what we can see on his board so far, and Kid K is not amazing either. Like he's got 1 violet basically so far that's good on 13. The rest of his units are pretty bad. But Kid K and Toykan, they're trying for an undercut. They're going for a 12 send, but Kyoma smells it coming. Has a death cap.
He was never going to leak here. Like I don't know.
And Steenie's just over 2k value. Like, there's just no way. And the send is just not what you need to send against an Avenger either. Like, Steenie has perfect tanks for wave 12. Sure, the Sovereign is weak on this wave, but not against this send, like a pack leader and brutes.
Yep. I mean, what would you have preferred to see here?
I mean, 4 eyes, obviously, right? Like, you have to send a 4 eyes if there's a sovereign on the board. I know he doesn't have lifesteal, but still, you need to be able to find some way of chewing through that health.
Yeah, I guess so. But the wave is doing good damage. I think it's not as terrible. But yeah, I don't see this sand doing anything.
And Kilmer, of course, holds easily. And it looks like Steenie might go for a very small leak. He is on shutdown, so there's 25 gold.
You were critiquing the sand, but he's nearly on value and still leaking.
Oh, true.
And yeah, they will get some chip damage here, but it's not really meaningful.
No, and that 25 gold shutdown.
And Steenie to go for a 14 cent.
Yeah, if they want to. They could also just win 13 on. But they do continue to save.
14 also looks quite juicy.
It does, like, for sure. Toykin is maybe better on 14 than he is on 13. But no, he's building for here.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, no. With the Lord of Death now, like, Toykin is just screwed on 14 as well. And Kid K is going full Violet here as well. So there's just no way. Like, both players full building for 13. Gilmer and Steenie, they read it well, they decide to save, and the 25 gold shutdown that Steenie gave away on 12 is not going to come close to doing enough for saving Kid K and Toykin when they receive these 500, 600 Mythium sends on wave 14.
They misread this situation and expected the 13 cent and just kept sending Income King as they would do in a ranked game, but that's just not how it's going to go here. So I'm pretty sure the game is over on the next wave.
It has to be, right? Like, the sends coming out from Steenie and Kilmer are absolutely massive. And I just don't see Kid K and Toykin because they're already undervalued here.
Yeah.
They're going to be so far below. And they're weak on the wave as well because they both of them all built for 13. This game's just over. So we were saying, like, if Steenie and Kilmer can repeat the way they played in game 2, then we expected them to win, and it certainly seems like that's how they've played this one here, and it just looks like a 2-0. I mean, we're definitely calling this early because it's not over yet, but I just don't see any world where Kid K and Toykin hold well enough to survive.
Yeah, I mean, Kid K has an Iron Scales and a couple masks and a Rogue Wave.
And around 1,000 dead value here.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, he has pretty much nothing for the wave.
Yeah, this one's over.
Yeah. I think so too. I'm not quite sure why there's a Ghost Knight against Kid K, but
it almost doesn't matter.
To counter the violets on this strong wave kappa.
And here comes the GGs.
It's just too much.
Yeah, fair play, Steenie and Kilmer.
Oh, the trash shot coming in.
A bit of vacuum?
Yeah, Shitini dishing it out. First was warm up, gets banged. But yeah, I mean, after that performance and how Kid K and Toykin were giving them a free game, yeah, I can appreciate some trash talk.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, Steenie and Kilmer, again, a repeat of game number 2. They were just in control from start to finish. We had that big leak on wave 5 where Kid K overpushed and Toykin did well against his Dino Send there. But Kid K needed to be a little bit safer, I guess. And then both of them re-leaking on 6. I mean, wave 6 was just a fiesta all round. We can't really call that a victory for either side. Then we see Kid K and Toykin fall into the trap, right? Because they're income resending, king upping every wave, while Kilmer and Steenie, they save all the way from wave 6 to wave 10 with these massive sends. Near enough win there on 10, but obviously new double buff king is just about buff enough to hold against the massive leaks. But again, income king every wave into this mega 640 Mythium sent on 14. And Steenie and Kilmer closing game number 3 out very nicely. 2-1 victory to those guys, so well played.
Yeah, well played to them. I don't know. Like the first game just went quite well for Tarikan and Kid K.
Yeah.
But I mean, Stini and Kioma made it also a bit easier there.
Yeah.
But I feel like they, I don't know, maybe just didn't try hard enough. Like, I'm sure they're capable of playing differently. So I'm really looking forward to them coming back maybe next month and showing us another performance.
Now, we've got a bit of a choice, Mr. GreenSpirit, for round 2. So
Yeah.
we could cast #1 versus Stini, but I think we probably should give another team a chance since we just had those guys on the main stage. So
who is #1?
I'm not sure. It's I think it's someone whose name I can't quite remember. Like it can't be anyone special.
Yeah,
it's probably just some like nobody.
Yeah, let's just go for someone more interesting then.
Yeah, so we could do This Is Fine versus CC Jesters, which is a pretty hype match. That's SSP and Aviator versus Shadow and Joke. I think that's going to be a pretty good one.
An interesting one. Yeah, Overbuild and Staff against Overbuild and Staff.
They're both giga tryhard teams.
Yeah,
let's go for that one. Let's go for the insane levels of sweaty tryhard.
I mean, maybe you could start like a prediction in chat how many cents we are going to see in that game. 1, 2, or 3. So I'm joining. All right, I'm in there.
All right. Hop in. SSP's lobby is open already.
Yep.
Oh, everyone's here on time. That's absolutely lovely, fam.
Yeah, I'm casting with Aviator, as it seems, since you blocked his spot.
Nice.
You guys can't swap.
Oh, they kicked me! They actually kicked me!
A nice little kick on you instead of emptying one of the close spots.
Yeah.
I like it. I would have done the same.
How bloody rude. Right, I'm going to just take a minute to refresh my water because casters need to be able to talk, and I will be right back in 1 minute, so don't go anywhere.
Alright, since Penny is gone, I will be taking over for a bit. Yeah, for the guys that don't know the players, we are going for a match between This Is Fine, this is Aviator and SSP, against CC Jesters. The players are Joker New and Shadowwings. And from what we've seen so far from both teams in tournaments, both of those teams like to go for very, very long saves. Like they like to stuff out and go for huge cents and huge blows. So this might be a very tactical and interesting game. I'm really looking forward to see some tryharding here. I'm also really curious what type of mastermind options we're gonna see. From Shadow and Joke, we have seen some cash out action, I think, which just allows you for some nice early game push, which we haven't seen that much in the last game from the cash out option, but we might see this time. Did Penny tell the players that he needs a break?
All right, Green, thank you for holding the fort. I am back.
Welcome back, Penny.
Everyone, it seems, has been having fun in my absence. Did you keep the chat warmed up for me, Green?
For sure, fam, for sure. I was telling them all the secrets you were telling me before.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a proper laugh about you.
Nice. Very good.
Have you expected anything else from me?
I mean, never trust a Russian, you know? That's what I always say.
Well, I don't... you shouldn't have said that. Now I'm forced to invade you.
Oh, God, no. Don't come for my Elo.
Well, your God's Bane Elo is waiting for me.
All right. I think the teams are ready. I think we can get into game number 1. This looks like a pretty hype-up matchup to me. We've got SSP and Aviator,
Absolutely.
obviously two very solid players. They won last month's Nova Cup, of course. And on the other side, we have Shadowwings and Joke on You, which are both giga try-hard players. And we can certainly expect to see some overbuild and starve of epic proportions coming out from both sides, I think, here in this series.
Give me a minute. I need to order a family-sized pizza because after this game, I will be so hungry.
Yeah.
There's just gonna be way too much starving going on.
Absolutely, dude.
And
we've got a Fiesta! Joke on You, let's go! In fact, I need to go back to the caster cam because Joke on You, Fiesta, he's got the balls. Well played, my friend. Well played. Okay, back into the game. Well played, Joke. Absolute god gamer there. Fiesta.
Yep. Like,
thumbs up.
These are the balls that we wanted to see from Toykan, but that we sadly didn't.
Toykan was sadly lacking, and I think he deservedly got punished for that by getting stomped twice in a row by Stingy and Kioma.
This. After the recent
beautiful
changes, this is even better than a consort.
Yeah.
Holy moly. This is just so good. Look at his roll.
Anyone who doesn't know in the chat, the Windhawk always leaks 2 creeps versus no send now after the most recent patch. It is like pretty much the perfect Fiesta opener. Unless he gets a snail, of course. If he gets a snail, it's less perfect.
Yep.
But meanwhile, Shadow is on the Crusher start, which is even better because he just makes the waves super long. I think both of them will save their Mythium. They do. So now they have actually a lot of pressure.
I mean, it is the better play. Like, they know that Joke is leaking. And that Shadow is going to take ages to clear the wave and to cover. So Joke is easily getting out 40 in income if he decides to send.
And Shadow the same.
Yeah.
He's going with snails. Okay. I mean, to be fair, SSP and Aviator both have potential for very safe holds on wave 2 because SSP has the gun, Aviator has the shroom and the pack rat, so he can just choose not to hunt that if he wants. And because he's pushed forward, because I'm going to say that is what he's doing. And Joke, I've never seen this before. I thought the Windhawk always leaks 2, but he somehow manages to leak 1. He is a real god gamer.
I mean, it seems like he's nearly as blessed as Aviator.
Yeah. Aviator, of course, for anyone who doesn't know, is the luckiest man alive.
Oh, yeah. He's just the most blessed man in the Legion community.
Yeah. You can send big sends to Aviator, and he will pull out the 1 in 100, like, aggro outcomes, you know, weekly challenge things that you play weekly challenge 1,000 times to try and generate. And he will just infuriatingly hold.
He will just do that in rain.
Yeah. Now, SSP, he did add 3 rats here. Is that enough for the gun to hold? I think it is. That looks like a hold.
Yeah.
And of course, Shadow didn't send to Aviator, but he did force Aviator off the treasure hunt, so that's a win in itself.
Yep. And I mean, Aviator does not look great on 4.
He doesn't. He has Infiltrator, right? And he does go with the Infiltrator here, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, Infiltrator is decent, right?
Yeah, but Shadow's going to send 100.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. And I think Aviator, he's not hunting again.
This is so good, actually. He's even boosting. Like, it's only a 1 gold boost.
Yep.
But like everything so far is going the way of Shadow and Joke. Like the amount of pressure that Shadow's applying.
Yeah, and he's undervalued already. I expect him to leak the next wave, and then he's really behind. That's interesting. He pushed to 5 workers.
I wonder if Aviator even rerolls here to try and find something better for wave 4.
I mean, if he gets some... he can't get a mask anymore, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Then I'm not sure what would solve his problems here.
The Shadow is only going for an income set. Goes for the Fiend. Maybe it'll be a Dragon Turtle as well. Saving? No. Is he going for a double Fiend? He wants a double Fiend.
Yeah, he really wants that leak.
I mean, the double Fiend is good, of course. Aviator has 125. He goes for the second Orchid. I do expect to see both of these boosted.
Shadow sold to build Zeus. I'm a bit confused by that play.
Here's the double Fiend. So we do have the 8 gold worth of boost here on Aviator. So he will at least kill one of the Fiends fairly quickly because of that.
Yep.
We do see that. That is pretty much dead by the time the Orchids have finished boosting. But now he's got another one to chew through.
Yep. And he will leak quite decently.
He will. He's now going to focus it. Joke leaking 63% versus Dragon Turtle Snail.
He's not going to get it. He's not going to get it.
He's not going to get the Fiend. So this will be a big leak on Aviator. But I was about to say, like, this would have been incredible for Joke and Shadow, except Joke leaks half the wave versus DT Snail.
Yeah, but at the same time, Joke had higher workers than Aviator did.
True. And he's playing Fiesta.
Not hunt. Yeah.
And he's playing Fiesta, so he does get the +4.
And Aviator did not hunt all those waves.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So for 3 waves, Aviator was forced off of his treasure hunt there. So really nicely played.
It's still pretty decent. Like, especially with Joke wanting to leak. And it's like a bit of the RNG, how much he leaks here, and it looked slightly unlucky.
I think he might go for a bit of a leak here, though. With his... Oathbreaker would be good, but I think he's trying to leak no send, which is going to be a mistake, because he's actually getting yes send.
You should add the fist in the split.
Yeah. Post-income imps there. I'm very interested to see how this works out against SSP.
Yeah.
Now, SSP, not known for his balls, did go for the full Royal Guard here. But his gun dies! His gun dies! It's a DPS Royal Guard! Oh, SSP, sacre bleu, mon dieu!
Oh, le baguette!
Oh, 66% leak there. Very good call from Joke to go for the posting. And look at this! The +4, the 25% versus the DT!
This is so good.
Can this man be stopped?
Dude, we were saying he should add the fist. If he did, he would not get the +4.
So he just knows.
Secretly Fiesta genius.
He just knows. Joke on you, god of Fiesta. This is the kind of content that we want to see on Nova Cup.
Absolutely. But SSP just... Look at the build. The gun just dying to the left side.
He had too much stuff on the left. It pulled too many of the little scorpions left, and then that just left his gun open afterwards.
Yeah, just building 2 bucklers instead 1 Royal Guard, even though they're cheaper and like a little bit less value, but still have been better. Because it would just make his guns die later. And
we have another send here from Joke, but SSP, surely he's going to be fine this time.
Well, his gun will just die, no?
Now that he has the shroom behind it, I think it works differently.
Yeah. Also the looter helps.
And he's just on value, you know, like -45, but with really good tanks.
I mean,
he's completely fine.
He was on value last wave already, but he was talented enough to still develop the league for the viewers.
It's a skill.
Yeah.
But he does manage to hold this time around, so that's a positive. And actually, we've been memeing, but he has 200. That's an ogre in income on wave 7. A big gassy boy. A gassy boy. I don't know what he's been eating, but he's angry.
He truly is. And look at Shadow's build. He's not gonna enjoy that.
I think Shadow
He's expecting a mimic.
He won't be too pleased. He won't be too pleased.
He's expecting a mimic. He's
Can you harden? Can you harden Shadow? Hello?
No.
Didn't read it. Didn't read it. Oh no.
Well, this is really not gonna go well.
No, and as well, if Joke didn't go for the Brute there, SSP wouldn't have been able to get the Ogre in income.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, the recent, I don't really get it, like, into the Royal Guard.
Yeah. Now, Joke on You obviously is holding here, but he's not going to cover very much, and that's an 88% leak on Mr. Shadow.
Yep.
So maybe I was getting a bit too carried away with how far ahead Joke on You was here, because actually, this is a lot of damage against Shadow Wings.
Yeah, I mean, it could have turned out slightly different if Joke kept applying pressure after the leak on 5. Like, it was quite a good play, but I just like the resend into the Royal Guard.
Yeah, the resend was obviously not ideal, and we did see them pay for it here, especially with how nicely that lined up for SSP with his 200 Mythium.
True.
But he would have had to do triple Brute otherwise, and it's just not quite the same. But here's a big old send. A big old send. There's a Witch. There's a Snail. How do you feel about that? I'm not 100% sure, honestly. Like, Aviator has insane value because he's an absolute overbuild and tryhard Starvelord, and with that, I think that amount of value and the boost.
I don't know, like, I'm curious how it's going to turn out. He doesn't have any damage besides the Orchid here.
But he's just going to kill the wave so fast, no? Like, he sends 2 snails as the only tanks, and sure, the Witch is nice damage, but the wave is just going to die super fast.
It's decent because he has a lot of units and the Froggos that are being spawned.
Well, it's currently spawned 2 frogs, and now it's going to die. So I don't think it's that worth.
Yeah, I also don't think so. It's barely leaks at all.
SSP does leak a lot to the income.
Delivering again.
Wow. Okay. Nice cover, SSP. By the way, now Aviator he leaks 42% versus the 240 send there of Shadow. But SSP just dropping the ball there.
Oh, do you think SSP is already considering the FF as a form of retreat?
I mean, it's part of his culture, no?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he must be considering it, but he probably came prepared. Like, I expect him to have a white flag somewhere about his person.
Possibly. Like, possibly part of the communication of SSP and Aviator is Aviator just telling him repeatedly, we will not concede.
Yeah. I mean, Aviator's a Viking, right?
Yeah, truly.
So there's no way he's giving up.
No way.
Everybody, for once, I think this is the first wave where we don't see a send from any of the players.
Yeah, and Joke is incredibly overvalued.
He is. He's got really solid income. Like, he's really benefited from the Fiesta this game.
Yeah, it just put him ahead incredibly. Like, look at the power scores. Shadow is a bit behind, but...
I mean, that's to be expected after what happened on Wave 7, right?
Yeah,
and then especially because Aviator...
Shadow enabled Joke, right?
Yeah, of course. Like, he was keeping Aviator down, he was stopping Aviator from using his treasure hunts as much as possible, and now we have big sends from everybody on Wave number 10.
Only Joke going for income, since he knows that SSP just leaks that anyway.
Yeah. Well, SSP, I actually expect him to hold now, because that's only income, and he does have the Vulcan Cannon.
I would be surprised too if he manages to pull it off here.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the rest? I mean, I expect Shadow to leak.
Shadow is definitely leaking, yeah. Like, he's got 2 Zeus. He's got the Deep Coiler, which is obviously great on 10, but you need tanks. Like, he just doesn't have any tanks.
He's going for a what build?
I think the medical term is a steamy build.
Yeah, I think that's the medical term, you're correct.
He will at least kill the Mimic, so that's something, but he's going to leave the boss on half HP. And meanwhile, Joke on You, can he kill that pack leader? That's going to be big. He just killed it. He just killed it. I think he might be going for Aviator's title here, and not the title of Nova Cup champion. I'm talking about the title of luckiest man alive.
Look at this though.
Wow.
This is so unlucky. But yeah, Joke should be like full pushing now. He had so much value for this. This was his weak wave. And now he can just push like a madman.
Yeah. And he got a +4 from it as well. You've got to remember, like, +4, dude.
And I would also like to point out how important stuff is, like finishing that pack leader or finishing that mimic.
Yeah.
It might seem like not much, but
no, it's absolutely huge.
It's nearly a free worker.
Yeah.
Right? And if you miss those, I don't know, 10 or 50 damage on that, it's just so frustrating. It can make such a big difference.
It's mental damage as well, right? Like, I know if that was me, I would not have killed the pack leader. I would not have got the one extra attack to kill it, and I would have just been immediately tilted.
Yeah, you would immediately turn French.
Yeah, I would start crying and shouting and FF spamming.
Yeah.
But joke on you, like, clearly a better player.
Yeah, I mean, having that mental edge can be quite important in matches as well.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Aviator is garbage on wave 14. Do you agree? And also wave 12.
On wave 13?
14.
On 14 and on 12, yeah, he's absolutely horrible. But SSP is extremely strong on both waves. Both of those waves.
Yeah, true. And we don't see the send come out on wave number 12, which to me would suggest 14 is the call for Shadow and Joke.
Yeah. I mean, would you mind looking at SSP's role and tell me how you feel about it?
It's quite good. It's quite good. I think it could be better, honestly. I know we're talking about Disciple and Boar and Steed, but there's also a Vulcan Cannon, which is like 550 value that doesn't support the rest of what he's trying to do. Like, you kind of just need a lot of Boars and a lot of Disciples and you've won the game. And also, I don't think it's as good as like Halo Boar. So it's a good role, like it's a very good role, don't get me wrong, but it's not ideal, and I feel like he's trying to do too many things at once. Like, you just need tanks to keep your Disciple Circle alive, which is what the Boar obviously does so well when it disintegrates the DT spam or whatever. But then he also has like a Vulcan Cannon, which is a lot of money into something that doesn't really support that plan. And like Rats, which I've never seen him treasure hunt once in this entire game, and like, you know, a lot of just kind of cheap tank spam up at the front like that. So
I see what you mean. While I agree with you generally, like the Vulcan Cannon is a bit much, but having like the cheap cannon is no issue.
Yeah,
like you need something for the early game, right? To have a decent push that's better than a Disciple opener. So, will we see the 14 cents as we predicted?
Almost certainly, I would say. Like, Joke on You has so much Mythium.
Will we see them from both sides?
I feel like if one side sends and the other doesn't, it's suicide. But here we go, both sides send. Yeah, everyone sends. And here we have some Mimics coming out from Shadow Rings. Now, Aviator, of course, called it, so he didn't go for that Hellgate on 13, which would have been really bad for him here. He did go for another Canopy instead, so now he gets another. He has 3 Canopies. He can actually add at least one more. He still goes for the gate. I was just saying how good his decision-making was, not building that on 13. Now he makes it here on 14. I mean, it's still bad on 14. Like, I don't know, dude.
Would you have sent a Centaur into Aviator?
I would not, and I'll tell you why. Is because Centaur is a bad send. If we have a look over here, so the Ram is perfect against SSP, of course, because he's got so much ranged pierce damage, so the Ram keeps the wave alive forever. But even so, SSP, he's still like 2.9k value with good tanks, with good damage for the wave. I think if anyone holds, it's SSP. And the Mimics are chewing through Aviator's canopies there.
Yeah.
Oh, Shadow Wings though, 92.
Shadow
Oh
is
no,
leaking.
he leaks the Ogre on
And
14%.
Joke is leaking too.
If
And
92%,
is
SSP's leaking.
What?
And
I didn't really
Joke
watch,
leaks
but
very small, that's a +4.
yeah.
But does either side die? Like, there's big leaks on both sides. Is anyone dead or is no one dead? What's going on?
I think Aviator and SSP are in danger. Or
this one's too close to call, dude. I don't know what's going on.
yeah,
Shadow and
Aviator
Joke, they
SSP
take it!
died.
Fiesta God!
Fiesta God just snacking them. Yeah. What an interesting game.
Absolutely insane,
and
dude.
this is like really showing that Fiesta is not just a meme and you can play it in tournaments if you do it well. And
and Joke on You did it well, like you have to say.
And you know what I think the biggest advantage for him was?
Yeah.
That he didn't play a retarded opener like most people do that makes it obvious on wave 1 that you're playing Fiesta.
Yeah. And then it just makes it easy for the opponent to save you and you can never get your +4s and
Yeah, and then on wave 4, like that's a totally reasonable shift to make without Fiesta as well.
Yeah.
And then he just leaks on wave 5 and they might think, maybe he overpushed. Like, there's nothing too telling. And then he just stops leaking because it was already enough.
Yeah, like, he'd already made his +12 income, which is already like better than Cartel, right?
Yeah, it's just incredible that I think this is the way to go, like the way he played it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm really impressed actually with the way Shadow and Joke played this game. Like they just defeated the February Nova Cup champions with Fiesta, and I think they played it absolutely masterfully. So well played to those guys.
I agree. It was nice to see that.
Yeah. Wave 14. Wave 14 kill on a build which has Vulcan Cannon, 2 Iron Scales, and a Boar. Never thought I'd live to see the day.
Well, I just didn't look on his lane because I don't know.
Just thought there's no way he would leak.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. But wither to imagine.
Wither to imagine. And I don't even know, like, were Shadow Wings and Joke surviving there? They had 5% HP. There were very few creeps left on that side. Or were they dead as well?
I'm not sure. Like, when the creeps were coming down, I thought they would live, but it got quite close.
It was certainly very close. Maybe they would have survived with like 1% HP, but turns out they didn't need to because they just got the lethal there on 14.
Yeah, they just understood the concept of killing the enemy king before your king dies.
I mean, it's such a simple concept, but it really does work wonders.
Yeah, when I do that, I just win every time.
And I have to say, Joke on You, Fiesta God. Well played, my friend. Well played.
Oh, absolutely well played. Well,
just the absolute balls on that man. Like, he must struggle to walk.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how he walks his dogs with those balls.
Yeah.
Well, I think the players are ready.
Players are all in the lobby. We might be able to get straight into the next game. This has been a hell of a night of tournament games already so far. Like, the Steenie and Kilmer series was really well played as well. I enjoyed watching that. And now we get to see the reigning champions taken down a peg by Fiesta God, Joke on You.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to do it another time, because now they might suspect him to do so.
Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing that you kind of need the edge of surprise. Yeah. And they certainly did that, because for sure, like, no one expected Fiesta. It looks like we have a false start on this lobby, so it's probably going to kick everyone back to main menu. We'll have to recreate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now it reconnects me as well.
Alright, so we go back into the lobby.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so happy to see a Fiesta player winning on their Nova Cup.
Yeah, so am I. I really like to see it as well, because people were like shitting on the option a lot in competitive play, while it was just played extremely poorly every time I saw it.
Yeah. Like people try too hard to leak, right? Instead of just saying you don't need to leak every wave with Fiesta to make it work. You need to leak like a couple of times. I think the wave 1 leak is very important. So in a way, he was lucky to roll the Windhawk.
He was incredibly lucky to have this roll.
I mean, it's joke on you, right? Like he only wins when he gets good RNG. He knows this.
Penny RNG UK. Yeah.
Absolutely. But let's see. Let's get back into the game. I don't want to turn the cams off yet because I'm going to go crazy if he does Fiesta again. Let's see. Joke on you.
Aviator going for the breed.
Yeah, Aviator 0 balls, as we knew. Come on, let's see. 3 people yet to pick. Cartel.
Cartel.
Joke on you, Cartel. Shadowwings, though. Shadowwings. Fiesta is open. I know you want to do it.
No one would expect it.
SSP Castle. Shadow. Come on. Shadow. Oh, I think he's mulling it over. Yeah. He goes with a castle. Okay. Hype over, guys.
Okay.
Hype over. We're back in the game. Sorry about that. I was just really hoping that someone would pick Fiesta again.
Yeah. I mean, if Shadow and Joke don't make any progress in the early, they might think that they're ahead with the castle on Shadow.
Yeah.
But there is castle and SSP as well.
Yeah. And Joke on You is going to get that minus 38 on wave 11.
Yep.
So he needs to be quite decently ahead by the time wave 10 rolls around.
Yeah.
Otherwise...
And SSP and Aviator are going to be having an advantage with the sending order.
Yeah. And there is no aggressive spell either, which is the way that you normally want to punish like a castle player, is by going for a massive like wave 11 send, because they just don't have the resources to hold it. But in this game, there's only defensive spells. There's Creditor, obviously the eco spell. There's Villain and Battle Scars, one of the new spells. How do you feel about Battle Scars, Mr. Spirit?
I mean, I really can't tell, because on paper it seems very strong. It just adds a lot of value to your build. But with a lot of units, it just doesn't feel like it has a lot of impact, right? If it constantly keeps buffing some tank unit, only the HP matters, which is not too bad, I would say.
Even the HP is fine. Like
but so the way keeps buffing your gates or something.
Yeah, that needs to be fixed.
Minus FF.
That needs to be fixed. They need to change it so that Battle Scars can't buff gates. That's pretty bad. But
generally it seems quite strong. Like
the way I feel about it is it has to be the best scaling spell in the game, no?
Yes.
Because if you take it to like wave 20 or 21, then you've gained 4,000 HP, which is like 2.5 Titans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's insane. It's insane value, and that's just the HP. Never mind the attack speed.
And even Titan is already generally worth more than allowance, I would say.
Yeah.
So
you have to say that, like, if it goes to the hyper late game, Battle Scars has got to be the best spell in the game. Yeah,
like, I'm just trying to make a comparison to, for example, Creditor that's in the game as well. So, like, it's just hard to tell, but in the very, very late game, it might be better, even though it's hard to compare because you get the gold value earlier.
Yeah.
You can snowball more. It is certainly not bad, I would say.
No, for sure. The one downside I would say is that it doesn't give you any immediate value. So, like, obviously it's absolutely useless for holding like a big send on 11. And very low value for like wave 12. But
yeah.
and when you do get into that hyper late game scenario, I just think it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, but at the same time, I wouldn't disregard spells like Villain or Pulverizer.
No,
well.
of course. Although Villain, by the way, much less powerful than it used to be on like wave 20 and 21, because now it does half of the effect against bosses. So where Villain used to be like a complete freehold against wave 20, it's now
it's a bit less of a freehold now.
It's much less. Like if you have it on a ranged unit, it's only 7% against the Maccabeus. It's like it's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, but wave 20 is a completely different topic, I guess.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, let's get back to the game. Jock has some interesting build. He's combining a Zeus with a flower.
I mean, it's good to cover on wave 6 and wave 5, where the flower is traditionally weak, but it's pretty garbage on 7 and 8.
But he can shift for the bunk, I guess.
Yeah, he'll have to.
If if he's brave enough.
He'll definitely have to, I think.
The SSP is quite pushed while being on value.
And while sweating Joke as well, so he already has that 90 Mythium saved up. When do we think he wants to go? Obviously not 5. He might... I mean, he probably... Okay, he goes 5. Obviously not 5, so of course he goes 5. But Joke should have a very easy hold here. It's only income after all. And anything that Joke decides to build here is just going to give him a free hold against the Dragon Turtles.
Yep.
Going for a second Zeus. Can you imagine if SSP didn't send here and went straight 7? Joke on You would be in so much trouble.
Yeah, it would be a disaster. I mean, he would have obviously shifted on 6.
Yeah.
But I think
now
even with the bunk, it would be a disaster if he just gets a couple brutes or, like, I don't know, an ogre would be just GG.
Yep.
Like, look at Shadow, he wouldn't be able to cover on 7 either.
Now, Aviator's going for a very, very small leak, it looks like. 1 brute and 1 creep.
I mean,
that's
he's
pretty solid.
The creep, maybe.
But he leaks the creep. But he loves that because, look, he already has 116 Mythium. Absolutely. He continues to save against Shadow. Like, Wave 7 looks very tasty against Shadow.
Will they just go 8 now?
They're not under any pressure. Like, Joke on You only has 40 Mythium. And they both send here as well. I feel like they can definitely go 8 then in this case.
Like, will this be Ghost Knight by Aviator on 8?
It definitely can be.
I mean, look at Shadow's roll.
Yeah, he just can't.
Leaking the entire wave.
He won't kill the Ghost Knight. No, there's just no way. There's absolutely no way. He's screwed.
And Joke doesn't look like he's in a position to cover.
Well, Joke is shifting 100 gold here, so he will get the.
He's going for the bunk.
He will get the bunk on 7, which is obviously the right play. But, and it's a big but, he still
Aviator's
sucks on wave 8.
Yeah.
Aviator's going to leak against the 3 snails.
He's going to leak here.
He's actually going to leak quite bad.
I mean, look at his value. He's 125.
He does just get that summon off. But it's still a big old leak there on Aviator. There's a 72% there. SSP will hold, of course.
This gives SSP the time to send big as well.
Yeah.
So they might just kill them on 8.
They might just straight up kill them. I think they're really going to put the...
Yeah.
They're really going to put the king, exactly, yeah. Like how... We know he's been deadlifting, but... Yeah. Can he lift 200 kilos, or is he still at around 150? Because if he's not deadlifting 200 here, I think he's going to be in trouble. But the 7 send!
Oh.
I did not see that one coming.
I mean, maybe Aviator felt like he's under too much pressure.
Yeah.
Because like this, he can get a Harbinger, which he would not be able to afford otherwise.
Yeah,
it would be kind of an all-in if he didn't go.
But they split send as well.
They're split sending. I don't know. Like, I feel like if they went 8, Shadow is leaking the entire wave and the Ghost Knight.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like,
Shadow did reroll Pee-wee, so he now has a boosted veteran here, which is obviously very good for him on this wave, but he's still going to leak pretty healthily, I think.
Yeah.
The veteran at least should clear this side of the wave, though, which is good.
Yeah.
Joke obviously holding, but Joke sucks on 8, even with the bunk, right? Like, he's just going to get Mole Hermit from SSP and he's going to leak everything.
Yeah, I mean, he is on value. So
Shadow! See. Oh, 28% health on a Mimic there.
The Mole Hermit is not that great, since the Mole might be focused by the Zeus's, and they're killing it quite fast with the magic damage. Well,
I think with the bunk, though, the wave creep should always be low HP, so the Zeus's should almost always focus the wave. And then the Mole lives forever.
Yeah, true.
I think Shadow actually can be quite happy with that. Talking of Ghost Knight, so we expect to see one from Aviator, who does go for a resend, of course. But there's a Ghost Knight from SSP. Now, I don't think that's as good as it was against Shadow, because we know, of course, that Joke has some decent spell damage on the Zeus, and he even adds a Nightmare here.
Yeah.
So whereas Shadow was not going to kill the Ghost Knight or a single wave creep, Joke on you, I think, at least should be able to kill the Ghost Knight. But actually, he doesn't go for the Nightmare. He sells. He's going to make a second bunk.
Yeah.
And this is worse.
Yeah. I mean, I would have really liked to see a huge 8 cent by both of them.
Let's see. We need to see this Ghost Knight go down. Both Zeus's are now on top of it. But actually, they killed a lot of other stuff first.
Yeah.
I just think the Nightmare was better, because he could have made the Nightmare, he could have made a Veteran. I mean, he's doing okay, honestly. And Shadow...
Yeah, he's doing pretty fine.
Shadow's going to hold, of course. Joke, 58%. I mean, it's a decent-sized leak, but it's a 280 send.
Yeah. But they're going to get some king damage, at least.
They are, because Shadow, while he holds his own lane, he's not going to cover anything in the mid. So there will be a decent chunk of king.
Yep.
But respectable, I think, for Shadow and Joke. They don't feel too bad about that one.
Yeah, I agree. And Shadow seems decently ahead compared to SSP.
He does, but one thing that I need to point out is that Aviator is way ahead of Joke while Joke is playing Cartel. So he has 3 more workers, he has 15 more income, pretty much the same value as well. And Joke on you is about to lose 38 income on wave 11.
Yeah, but Joke has 100 more unspent gold, which we should also take into account. But yeah, I agree with you.
I think, given the choice, I would be in Aviator's position right now, rather than Joke's.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, Aviator pushing to 15 workers.
Now, SSP stocks on 10, like, he's terrible there. I've never seen a worse build on 10. But there's Predator in the game, so it's impossible to send.
Yeah, I mean, you could have skipped the on 10. I've never seen a worse build full stop.
Yeah, it's not perfect. There's a chance, honestly, that he leaks no send here. Even with 1400 value.
That's a billion value. So
he does have around a billion value. Now there's income sends coming out for both SSP and Aviator. Shadow not looking too hot here. He does boost the Veteran.
Yeah.
Joke on you obviously going to hold with his 1500 value. I want to watch Shadow's lane because I think against 220 this could quite easily be a leak for Mr. Shadow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking at Shadow's role as well, doesn't look too hot either. Even though recently I've seen APS Doomsday.
He's already rerolled as well.
Without anything else, performed quite decently, to be honest.
Yeah, true. But it has like glaring weak waves, doesn't it? It's not quite the same as like a Boar Halo, which has no weak waves whatsoever.
Yeah. Especially if you look at wave 18.
Yeah.
With this build.
Wave 18, wave 19 is pretty weak.
Yeah, with 19 less so because
he has the Mudman. Yeah. I suppose on 18 he has Violets, but he'd need to have a lot of them. Okay, so we see Joke on You goes Creditor here, Shadow goes for the Battle Scars, which is interesting. SSP also Battle Scars, and Aviator has spent all of his gold, so clearly not going for Creditor. I expect, obviously, Villain or Battle Scars on him as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if I like the Creditor. I don't know. Like, it's just a weird build to mix Nightmare with.
On Joke?
Yeah, on Joke. Yeah. But generally, like Villain on Nightmare, it's just extremely strong.
Pretty solid, yeah. But more so when he has Lifesteal, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. I think maybe he might just never make a Nightmare as well.
Yeah.
To be fair. Because if he doesn't have one already, like, when does he want one?
Yeah, I mean, maybe for wave 14. Since he has nothing that's good there.
We have got income sends coming out from SSP and Aviator. Joke does, of course, shift his 170 for Creditor, and will still hold against the income send, obviously.
Easily, even though he's building Zeus here.
Yeah, and Aviator's boosting, so he's scared.
Yeah. Shadow has hardened here.
Shadow,
but he's also decently
SSP has hardened as well. Will we expect to see a 13 send now against SSP and Aviator? They have a ton of Mythium.
It's hard to tell. Like,
I say so because SSP hardened both Mudmen here, and Aviator boosted as well. Yeah, here it comes. That's a Kraken. That's a Kraken each. You're not seeing double, guys. Guys at home.
Yep.
Don't adjust your glasses.
So clean.
Yeah, the perfect pro leak there from Shadow. This is...
Yeah, I mean, SSP and Aviator might feel decent next wave because they have a Hades. But a Hades is pretty useless against the Kraken.
Hades is not known for its ability to kill a Kraken.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. Like, sometimes you feel strong in a wave because you just have the units to counter the wave.
Yep.
But if the enemy reaches the ability to send this much, they can just easily turn it. Just like with the Green Devil meme build with Chieftains, you feel so strong in 15, but if you get a Kraken, there's just not much you're gonna do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's worth pointing out, actually, that Aviator didn't go for the Hades in his lane. He did go for a second Harbinger, which is maybe a saving grace, because he'll actually be able to kill the Kraken rather than leaking the whole wave plus Kraken.
Yep. I think he expected it.
Yeah, he did. But if we have a look at SSP, he is having a bit of trouble with the Kraken. Yeah. So that's a bit of a leak there for SSP, 135%. And Aviator, despite doing better, that's still a 67%.
Yep.
Now, I don't think they die here. But
I don't think so either, but this is...
But they're taking a ton of damage. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to something like 20 or 30%, I guess.
It's also worth pointing out that Joke on You has shifted for Creditor 3 times in a row, so any disadvantage that he had from being behind Aviator on wave 10 and then his Cartel is like bought and paid for with this leak and with his Creditor gold.
Absolutely, even lower, they're on 15%.
Wow.
And now there's just not much needed for them to die.
They're clearly in one-shot range now, so Joke on You on Shadow, they just need to decide when to end it. And Aviator, he goes for an egg.
Ooh. I mean, they're kind of in the position where they can't leak anymore.
Oh.
And going for eggs can really, really help with that. To just become that unleakable powerhouse and go for a very long save of yourself.
Joke on You on Shadow, though, they have enough workers. They could Kraken on 15.
Yeah, they could.
It would most likely be after income, but it's a possibility, and it might just be a game winner if they go for that.
Yeah, but also look at the values. Or
yeah,
the value of SSP.
Yeah, but 275 of that value's in an egg. And SSP's got good value, sure, but Hades versus Kraken never really comes out on top. Now, I don't think they're going to go for it. Shadowing actually doesn't have enough Mythium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Work on you could. Aviator has 600 gold to play with here, so what is he going to go for? I do expect to see that Hades coming out.
You barely doesn't get it either.
I think he does.
Like, by 1 Mythium.
I think he definitely does. Oh.
A Kraken is 400 Mythium.
Yes, and Joke on You, if you have a look, has 401 Mythium.
I expected 399.
Well, that's just where my experience as a better player comes in, I guess.
That's where the 3,500.
Yeah.
The grandpa veteran, Pennywise, old K.
So when do Shadow and Joke want to try and end this now? They're very strong on 16 with Joke's Flowers. They're very strong on 17 with Havens, with Golems and Doomsdays. Descent does come on 16, but only from Aviator, actually. Now, Shadowings with his 250 gold here.
He's probably doing the Widdowson where he pings his lower E-load teammate to save.
Yeah.
While going for some income.
Just bullying him. Just absolutely shamelessly bullying him into starving.
Yeah, so you're gonna save my friend. But yeah, Aviator is not going just for income, he's summoning Peg Mole here.
Look at the size of his Samurai Soul, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's not bad, because Shadow is really bad here.
Yeah. Well, you say he's really bad, but he has got 2 Doomsdays with the MPS and APS buff.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane on 16.
Yeah, it actually is. Like, people underestimate it.
You know it's like an arcane impact unit, but actually the AoE of the
he's just
detonation.
Holding comfortably. Yeah, I didn't look too closely. I just saw the markments and the violets.
He's not going to hold, but he's minus 470 here, and he's leaking 4 creeps and a lizard. You know, like that's a plus 4.
Balanced arcane impact unit. That's just.
It goes 17 though.
I was curious when they wanted to go because I wasn't sure. Yeah, but do you want to go 18 against Hades and Arctires or Hades Daphnes?
It's really hard to call, isn't it?
Aviator has no tanks for 18, right?
Yeah.
SSP is just too good. Like here, at least, SSP is lacking some form of damage.
He is,
like, he has a Harbinger, but
he's very undervalued as well on SSP.
Yeah. So I think this is the correct call by them to just go by now.
But I think Aviator just holds now. Like, he has 4 of these. One of them has 5 stacks of battle scars, by the way. So that's 2,000 extra fortified HP. He's double boosted veterans. He's got a full Hydra and a couple of Harbingers for good measure. Like, Aviator just holds here. Like, I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, you're correct. But at the same time, like, when do you want to go?
Yeah, it's a fair question.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure.
But maybe Joke could have even just done Income King and then played for a later wave.
Yeah, maybe. The thing is,
I guess maybe they can do enough damage to Aviator that SSP's leak will reach King.
Yeah, kinda. That's kind of the idea. Like,
and remember, they only need a tiny little tickle.
Yeah, exactly.
86% there on SSP, and Aviator, of course, holding, but he doesn't have that much left alive.
Yeah, true. I mean, I would assume that the next cent they would be aiming for if they manage to save this long would be 20. What
they will survive this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, can they afford to save past 19? Because even with the Mudmen, Shadow just has no damage on 19.
The game is way too starved. I think they're forced to
They're pushing hard. They're going to send 19. Joke's gone. Joke's like nearing off suicide pushing there. He's on 50 workers. I mean, he is suicide pushing. He is suicide pushing. Yeah.
I mean, then I think that's a pretty good call because they just can't survive 19. I think.
Yeah.
The game is too staffed, and look at Aviator. Like he is incredibly overvalued. He's like 300 plus overbuilding like a madman, as we know him.
Yeah.
But
it's in his blood.
yeah. And Joke full pushing here is pretty dope. Like,
is he going to keep pushing though, or will he add some stuff for?
I really hope that he is going to keep pushing because I think that's the only way for them to actually have a chance.
And his worker count keeps going.
Yeah, like Shadow is not going to hold because he's lacking the damage, but Shadow can delay for a very long time with those hardened knockbacks.
But here comes the question mark pings, so they know that he's full pushed.
They know.
So now SSP and Aviator, they have to send, and maybe even Aviator pushes workers, but the problem is he has to be the holder.
Yeah. Yeah, like for Aviator to push workers, like I don't know.
So
maybe
Shadow and Joke, one thing they have going for them is that they obviously have the massive HP advantage, 86 versus 18%. But I just don't know that Shadow has the value to outhold Aviator, even with Joke's insane worker push.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he has hardened Mudmans, which should be the most efficient thing here. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Royal Guards are better. I'm not sure.
He's going to he needs to full harden. Shadow, please full harden.
Absolutely.
Shadow, please, Shadow, full harden. Okay, there you go. And the new ones. Nice. Okay, good.
Making us nervous here.
Yeah. And Joke even gets the Kraken to go with his double Shaman here, by the way. So that's an 1120 send that Aviator has to cope with here. He does have insane value there at 6.5k, but he's still minus 585.
Yeah, and I do like the call. Like, I think it's the best thing they could do. Like
which is kind of ridiculous when you come to think about it, right? Because they were super far ahead, and they have to make a suicide play to win just because of the roles of SSP and Aviator having no weak waves.
Yeah, true. And
is it going to work?
Shadow is holding, and
Aviator?
It's working.
Aviator? Yeah, but Aviator's holding, though.
Yeah, they are going to die, though. I think. Right? These are 4 creeps.
They're 4 creeps, but they're all injured. I don't know that the game ends here.
I
think it's close.
I really can't tell, to be honest.
It's really close.
Like, with Shaman, those creeps really do massive damage.
They do, but one of the Shamans is instantly dead.
Yeah.
They're gonna...
It is not enough! They live!
Wow!
I honestly expected them to die.
Yeah, same. But so the reason they had to send 19 is because Joke on You and Shadow couldn't really afford to skip there themselves.
Yeah.
But now, here comes the resend against Aviator and SSP, and I've got to say they're looking much weaker
What's going on? Aviator is saving?
I don't understand that Aviator's save.
He's being suicided on.
Yeah, like you have to send here, Aviator. Okay, he goes for the post-income Shaman. That makes sense. But actually, he has 140 left. Like, could he not afford that re-income?
I think so. I guess they just didn't expect to live or something.
And all of the Mudmen on both teams are de-hardened.
Yeah.
So can anybody hold here?
I honestly think that Aviator and SSP have a better chance.
But the Shaman here is going to die.
Yeah. And also, like, SSP...
Shadow's leaking.
SSP and Shadow are like the holders, and SSP is just stronger here than Shadow.
Wow, Aviator and SSP, they take this. Sad. It is so sad. Like, Joke on You and Shadow, they played this one so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they do die here on wave 20. That was just a really odd game state where they were forced to send on the strong wave of SSP and Aviator.
Yeah. Yeah, generally a really rough one.
They never could have afforded to save there, could they? And just go straight 20 from Joke and Shadow.
I mean, maybe they just had to risk it. I don't know. Like the leak gave it away. But they.
I feel like they would almost certainly have died though if they didn't.
Yeah, but Shadow held extremely comfortably.
I mean, he did, but they still went down to 34% HP.
Yeah, but that's
so you got to say, like, if Shadow had Shadow had 100 less gold.
Yeah, but that's because Joke suicided as well. So if he didn't suicide, they might have just skipped.
Yeah, but if he didn't suicide, then SSP and Aviator might not have sent. That was such a mind games matchup. I think that game. It was so close. Look at that 1%.
You're correct. They wouldn't have sent, I think.
Look at that 1% on Aviator and SSP Wave 90.
Yeah, that's just so frustrating. I had something like this happen to me as well while playing an attorney, and if you then lose, it's
a tilter.
It's not even just tilting. It just made me feel quite disappointed. Like just. You were like kind of supposed to win like the entire game, and then you just can't.
And you just didn't, But the same on like 17 as well, right? Like they had them at 14% HP on 13, with that really good play, by the way. Like I got to hand it to Shadow and Joke with that mega send on 13, taking them down from 96 to 14%. But the new post deadlift king was just strong enough to stay alive there on 14% HP.
They would have been dead before.
Yeah, old king would have died.
Yeah.
And that just wins them the game, because there's another leak reaching king on 17, it's not enough. There's another leak reaching king on 19. It's just barely not enough by 1%, like by the skin of their teeth. And then game over on 20. I really feel for Joke and Shadow on that one, but I kind of feel like they should have won. I feel like they certainly played better through
absolutely
through the early and mid game. They kind of outplayed SSP and Aviator, and then just with the values and the roles covering each other's waves nicely on SSP and Aviator, like they were able to bring it back. Like don't get me wrong, fair play to Aviator and SSP for playing to their outs.
Absolutely.
But I really am heartbroken for Shadow and Joke.
Yeah, you were critiquing the egg, which was like generally a good play, but I really gotta say, after seeing something like this, it actually makes me a bit sad, because I can truly feel the frustration that they must feel right now.
Yeah. Ah, man. Right, anyway, without further ado, we should probably see if game number 3 is ready.
Yep. Lobby is up. We have a small be right back on SSP. Okay. He said that he is shitting his pants after that game.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. So, he has to change the diaper for the next one. All right.
Oh, my room is roughly the temperature of the surface of the sun.
Because of your computer?
Yeah, I've got the door closed as well to try and keep out child noise from the stream, which is obviously good for the viewers. But man, I'm melting in it.
Yeah. I know that feeling. This sounds rough. But there we have your children invading the stream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The second I open it, there's the noise. Right. Well, if we're waiting for one of the players to have a quick break, I might take the opportunity to grab a little bit more water before game number 3. I will be right back.
You're leaving me alone again. All right. So, that was a hard game. Wait a second. I will have to let the players know that Penny needs a while. They wanted to start the game. So yeah, I'm really curious how it's gonna go in the next one. Like, Shadow and Joke are playing incredibly well in those games so far. I really like to see what they're delivering. Welcome back, Pennywise. But yeah, I don't want to like diminish what SSP and Aviator are doing, but yeah, I kind of see Joke and Shadow favored so far, to be quite honest, based on.
I would agree, but
I'm kind of afraid that after a game like this, their morale is just gonna be broken. It's just so hard to come back after.
And I think one thing that I have to point out is that like Shadow would be the first to admit that he is maybe more affected by morale than some other players.
Yeah,
and after a game
like this, anyone would be affected.
After a game like that, anyone's going to be tilted. So like Shadow, who is more affected by that kind of stuff than other people.
Yeah, I think
there's a danger that he's going to be like really stressed after that game.
I think SSP and Aviator.
Oh, Joke on you! Yes, yes, Joke, yes, absolute legend of a player. I've never said a bad word against this guy because Joke on you.
I did.
Game number 3.
Yeah, but
in the Nova Cup against SSP and Aviator, the reigning champions. He picks it once. He picks it twice. It's the Fiesta.
Yeah, you love to see it, man. Yeah, like I really respect that, and I can already see an RNG to Snail on one opener, like with the Oathbreaker.
Yeah.
You could also go for the Gate Guard. But you could also go for a definitive leak on one with something like Atom plus Proton.
Or like Atom plus...
Which I would dislike.
He doesn't, though.
Yeah, I prefer that. Because I think the key with Fiesta is having that mental edge and not letting your enemy know.
And he goes for the Gate Guard. I don't expect Aviator to Snail. He does not. He saves, in fact. But Joke, he's going to be in a spot of bother on wave number 2. Because he doesn't really have any options. He can't afford to build either of his tier 2s. He won't get the Shroom. He won't get the Sea Dragon. He won't even get something like a Devilfish. So all he can really do on wave 2 is either reroll, which might be his best option, or place a handful of Polywogs.
But
and Aviator didn't send. So like if Aviator goes double snail, which he does...
Or he goes double snail, like...
I was going to say, like, if he does a DT, which would have been absolutely crushing, but even a double snail here might just be like a world of hurt for Joke on you.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, he's going for the Polywog spam.
SSP.
He's getting the 2 snails. He's just building that one.
He's so screwed. He's so screwed.
He decided to add more, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 3 Polywogs is not going to tank long enough or do any damage whatsoever. So he might get a second summon if he's lucky, but I don't even know that he gets that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
This is
90% leak. 90% leak. Yeah, that's what she said to nobody ever in GreenSpirit's presence.
Oh man.
The 90% though. That's I think he needed to reroll, dude.
Yeah.
He did reroll actually. He has rerolled, but he just didn't get anything in his reroll either.
Yeah, I mean, he rolled into something interesting, but he's kind of lacking that natural or fortified tank.
Yeah.
So he's just in a really, really weird spot right now.
And Shadow not able to full cover either. So going to be a bit of king damage.
Yeah, just overall, just that not sending on 1 by Aviator, like totally changing stuff. Like imagine if he did.
Let's have a look. So SSP should be able to hold here, but I'm not 100% on that one. And Aviator obviously holding. Shadowwings obviously holding. Joke on you. Question mark? He's decent here, but it's still a 60 send. And like he still has 45 dead value.
Yeah. I mean it gives him some time, but
but now the shroom's tanking way too much.
Yeah, the gate guard and the doggo.
And now the things are like gluing onto a couple of the wave creeps. He isn't even killing that dragon turtle very quickly. Okay, he's doing okay, but it will be a +4 there. 69% from SSP, very nice. Joke on you, 56%. Okay, and this time Shadow will full cover.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, being in the spot that Joke on you is in right now is just incredibly difficult.
That's why it's so important with the Fiesta roll to leak wave 1. And like, I think he just had a very unlucky roll to be able to do anything on wave 2.
It wasn't just about leaking that wave 1. It's also about like being in the
But then you also have to know, like, if you have nothing in your roll for wave 2, then you probably can't push 5 workers on gate guard. At least until you see that you get the king up on 1. Yeah, like if Aviator gave him a king up there on wave 1, it's a different story. He can push 5 and be happy leaking like a couple of creeps to a single snail. But with no answers on wave 2 whatsoever, I think he probably should have stayed 4 workers.
Absolutely agreed. Because like this, it just he has to build those polys, like adding that useless value, not being really able to push. You're just caught in that spiral.
He's in a really difficult position,
of like not being able to make a good decision, because nothing that you can do is good.
And now SSP and Aviator were both overbuilding while saving their Mythium.
Oh, that's very creative play.
I don't know if this is some kind of like new strategy that we haven't seen around, but they stayed really high value while continuing to save Mythium. Interesting. We'll have to see how that one works out for them.
Yeah. I mean, I've read stories on the Discord about it.
No. I've never heard anyone play like this before.
Really? Yeah, maybe I'm just confused. But
you must be.
Interesting approach, this value stacking and Mythium saving. At the same time, they're ahead in workers.
They are ahead in workers. Oh. Joke and Shadow did go for the resend on 4, which obviously they easily held. And now you've got to say SSP and Aviator comfortably in the driving seat here. And when do we expect them to send? I mean, Joke looks garbage on 8, but are they just going to go straight wave 8?
Yeah, that's a bit far, I guess.
Well, they're not sending on 6.
Here, I mean, they might just go 7. Like, even though Joke looks decent there, if he receives something like an ogre, he will look a bit less decent there. Yeah,
he will. And he can receive an ogre.
Yeah. And so can Shadow. And then he will look a bit less decent there too. Now,
one positive is that Shadow hasn't sent Mythium here. So he can go for a double brute on 7.
Can you take a look on Aviator's build? Like, look at those units, split tanking. It's quite interesting. Also,
it's pretty nice.
The Sea Dragon being able to heal the Pilgrim.
Is he going to heal?
Being able to heal everything else.
Oh my god.
Like, look at this,
That's
man.
Absolutely sensual.
Yeah, this combination of Sea Dragon and Pilgrim is quite interesting. And the 2 ogres, as I called it.
Now, Aviator will, of course, get
as you could have never called it, Penny.
No, I would never have dared to guess. I thought they would probably just send lizards, you know?
I mean, yeah, like Ogre on 7, just like a Mimic. I've never seen this play ever before.
No. But
Like,
it's important to note that they could only do that by staying high value and saving Mythium.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's see now how Joke and Shadow deal with their 2 20 cents each. And Joke actually went for the big Lifebinder. Nani?
It's kind of weird, but...
I mean, it's putting a lot of HP onto the canopy, but it still dies.
I think if it's not an Ogre, like, I think it's bad in this situation.
Yeah.
But generally, it's like...
Like, if it was Brutes or something, it'd just keep the canopy alive forever.
Yeah. If you don't have something that has a high damage output, you constantly convert 100 HP into 600, which is insane value on an arcane unit this way. But yeah,
he could have just kept it as the small one, right, and added like another shroom or something, like something to just split the damage a little bit.
Yeah.
So that his canopy couldn't get rushed down so quickly.
Yeah,
and they don't die here, partially because of new Deadlifting King, but they're still down to like 29% HP.
Yeah.
And SSP and Aviator are way ahead in workers.
Yeah.
Like they're on another planet.
Riding up a lot recently.
Yeah. But they're legit on another planet in terms of their workers. We've got 12 and 13 versus 7 and 9. I don't want to put this game down to tilt, which we were worried about. I more want to put it down to Joke on Yu's role. Like, he had a really bad role for the way this game panned out.
I mean, this game is also like about coin flips. And they just won the coin flip by Aviator not sending in 1. And Joke having pushed 5.
Yep.
I mean, okay, that's the misplay, right? But after that, the game was nearly out of control for him.
Yeah. And like this now, the game is just super hard for Joke and Shadow. Like, the lead on the side of SSP and Aviator is insane at this stage.
Yeah.
Like, Joke and Shadow will have to pull out something pretty special if they want to convert this one into a win.
Oh, yeah. I mean... Against, like, in this type of tourneys, it's just very unlikely, because all the players, even though we like to meme a lot, and trash talk some of the players, but all of the players participating are quite skilled players.
Of course, yeah.
And if a game is, if someone has a lead this huge in the game, it's just rather unlikely that a team can turn.
Yeah.
But we're still curious. Sometimes it happens, and when it does, it's just one of the most exciting things ever. And that's what we play for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see a comeback here from Shadow and Joke. I'm just really struggling to see it, especially with Joke just income sending against SSP like every wave. Because to make that kind of comeback, you need to have some pressure. And SSP and Aviator, they're just going for the save again. They're not under any pressure. SSP receiving Mythium every wave, and here comes double Ghost Knights on 10.
Yeah.
Shadow goes for the Hellgate. I mean, the Ghost Knight is just perfect against this. Now, he can't know that the Ghost Knight is coming, but obviously if he did, he would go for like a Leviathan Circle.
Yeah.
Or even Alpha Male or something like this.
It's a difficult call to make, I guess.
I don't love the Hellgate though, because he just doesn't have enough tank value to keep the boss away from the gate.
I would not underestimate the gate, to be honest. Like, it seems weird, and in this case it might not be the best call, but often the fight is just long enough for you to get all the spawns. And they're quite tanky with the natural armor, and the impact units actually even do quite an amount of damage.
He's gonna get all 5 summons out, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And actually, Joke's just full holding. Fair play, Mr. Joke.
And
Aviator makes no sense.
Like, Aviator repeatedly going for the Busty League.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame that he wasn't on shutdown there, honestly. But Joke's going to full cover, never mind just hold his own lane.
Yeah.
Fair play. Okay. Well, this is the start of the comeback.
Yeah.
Like if you were going to write a plan of how they come back, well, holding the big send and then taking Venture is the start of that story.
Absolutely. Like this really puts them back in the driver's seat.
It goes for the villain, and actually, I can see why. Like with this role, maybe the villain is more value than the Venture. Stick the villain on your Sovereign with lifesteal. I can see that.
Yeah.
And Shadow does take the Venture, so now he can get some value.
It's so difficult. Like he has no tanks in his role.
On Joke? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so difficult to play.
Well, I mean, new Sovereign is a tank, right? I mean, he's not a full tank, but he's a very, very solid off tank.
Yeah, true, but I don't know. You don't just have one off tank then, right? And then what can you do?
True.
Like spam devil fishes? I don't know. I just don't know.
So when are they going to send, and why is it wave 14?
I think it is wave 14 because Aviator has 0 damage there, and I don't know. SSP is SSP. Like you can just be, he is a guy you can rely on. You can rely on him leaking a strong wave. So even though he has Leviathans and a Boar, he's leaking there. He's getting the LOD here already to prepare for the 14 cent. Yeah. Likely gonna get a Hades on.
He's changing his mind. Maybe Aviator's pinging him and saying, no, they're going 14.
Yeah.
Just go for Leviathans, just go for Red Eyes.
No. He's building it, and he's shifting. Yeah. So he is gonna get that Hades on the next wave to prepare for the 14th wave.
And how good is Hades on wave 14? Can you tell me?
Well, since it has magic damage, and it's a DPS unit, it's not the best.
Not the best?
On an wave. It's certainly not the best.
Not the best. Interesting. Ooh. Now, Shadow goes for a 50% leak to no send here. He has pushed workers very, very hard. Surely they're not thinking of going... Oh, he's Venture, is it?
Yeah, he has Venture. Like, I think he even wanted that long wave.
Yeah, he probably didn't want to leak 50%. Like, he would have loved to leak 1 creep. Right. I mean, start of the comeback for Shadow and Joke. Like, this is the way it needed to go. They needed to hold a send. Then they needed to be back in the driving seat, which they are. We have 500 Mythium on Shadow. We have 420 on Joke. And we do have a shared weak wave coming up for both Aviator and SSP, who does go for the Hades, as we called last wave.
Yeah.
But their value is going to be...
making it happen.
The value will be astronomical, though, on both players.
Yeah, but the sense will be astronomical as well.
So Shadow can send comfortably north of 600 on 14. Joke's going to have above 500 himself. They probably do need to hold it.
Ogres, and there's not much SSP is going to be able to do about that.
Yeah, and he does.
Yeah, or just Ogre pick Mo.
And Shadow will hold here, right? He will.
Yeah, he will.
Okay, well here's the send. It's a bloody big one. There's a Shaman with the 4 eyes on Shadow. So he just really wants to zerg down the Giga buffed Arcter, which by the way has 3 battle scars, and 3 chieftain buffs, and, if that wasn't enough, an Ocean Templar.
An Ocean Templar.
An Ocean Templar.
Yeah, but now a Wild Shroom is gonna get buffed.
Yeah. I mean, that's still pretty solid.
Yeah, it is, but I kind of like the Shaman and the 4, right?
Yeah, I really like that as well, actually. I think if you know that you have to break 1 massive tank, why not just Giga buff a 4 eyes?
Yeah, and Aviator has 0 damage. Like, what's his damage?
He hasn't got any.
Yeah.
And his backline is getting killed by the splits as well. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Only partially.
And
now his big tank's dead.
It's gonna do more damage to King as well.
Okay. So let's have a quick look at SSP. So he's leaking pretty bad.
SSP as well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm curious how much damage this is gonna do. Yeah, but Shadow is just starting to leak the income sense.
Yeah, of course. Like he has nothing here. He's got a really bad build for wave 14.
I really don't know. Like I don't think they're gonna die with the roided up king.
No, I think buffed king might be able to survive this. And look, the 4 eyes getting targeted first. Now the shaman dies as well. I mean, again, it's close. Again, it's close.
Yeah.
But close isn't lethal.
Do you think it's gonna be 16 or 17?
I kind of feel like it has to be 16 because SSP has the boars. But on 16, Aviator's just going to have the world's biggest Arcter. Like, he's going to sell that shroom, and he's just going to have an Arcter with 9 gajillion hit points.
For sure. But his only damage are the chieftains, right? At the Seabringer. I really have a hard time to assess the strength of this build, to be honest. But I don't know, like
Shadow just doesn't have enough Mythium, I think.
Yeah, I think they're just going to skip
and go 17.
Yeah.
They might have to, but Shadow and Joke are pretty bad on 16. You've got to say they're pretty bad on 16.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Shadow can hold here.
I guess they kinda have to take risks, right?
Nobody sends.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are going to have a 17 race, I guess, but SSP, he already has 2 full red eyes.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to break, say, 3 red eyes on 17 if you're Joke on you?
I mean, isn't the answer always kinda either Ogre or 4 eyes?
Well, it has to be, yeah, but like, is it enough? You can't really Ogre either because of the Leviathans.
Yeah, true. So it's just 4 eyes?
It has to be 4 eyes.
I mean, since the change, the boars are...
They're less good because they don't slow the wave anymore, but they're still, like, insane. Yeah. And this one has 5 battle scars. It will have 6.
The thing is, I have seen these builds leak if there's just damage lacking.
Yeah.
And SSP is lacking some damage, so...
And it is 4 eyes, so we're going to see, I think, 2 4 eyes from both players. I think Shadow just skips.
If RNG is on their side, this build might actually leak.
Well, Joke not going for the second one, though. I think he should have skipped for the second 4 eyes. I think the pack is just a dead send. I think that's a mistake there from Joke on you. I think he needed to go double 4 eyes. And I think Shadow needs the same, but he doesn't have enough Mythium. The Shadow's going for a pack leader as well. I don't know, dude. Now, Aviator's putting his buff on a Bone Crusher here. So this Bone Crusher is going to have a large amount of health, a very large amount of health, and an Ocean Templar buff.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's 3 red eyes here. One of them has 10k HP.
Yeah. Sending these melee sends into Tempests is always kind of weird.
They're both dead. They're both instantly dead. Like, I looked at Shadow's lane, SSP's lane.
Yeah.
Both
the
are
red
already
eyes
dead.
nearly instantly booped them,
yeah.
And the Tempest just finished them off for free.
Now, Shadow, is he able to hold here himself? I don't know. Joke is, which is good.
Mean, Shadow is incredibly strong here.
He's very strong. This is his best wave by some margin.
Yeah, he has white main gates and Tempest.
Aviator will leak is very small, and he's on a 25 gold shutdown.
Yeah, but Joke and Shadow easily hold. And
but look at the workers now.
The thing is, they kind of have to go 20 if they want to leak Aviator and SSP.
Even on 20, on 20 though, Aviator can have a Shroom on his Ocean Templar with around 10 chieftains buffing it. Like, he doesn't have the Fatalizer or the Halo.
Yeah, but also it's just too far, right? They can't go 20, I think. But
Well, Shadow and Joke
19,
can't survive 19. They're terrible 19. Like, Shadow has 5 Hellgates, which is a lot of value, but it's just not good on 19. And meanwhile, Joke, he's got double Sovereign. Again, garbage on 19.
Yeah, true. Shadow can go for Leviathan and add some Tempest or get some I don't know, Alpha Mates, Lionesses. But I don't think it's enough for either of them. Like, Joke is just absolutely horrible on 19.
Yeah. They have to send 19. It's just a question of whether they go for Income King.
Yeah.
Which I don't hate.
Yeah, but what do you do then? Like, yeah, I guess then you go for the 21 race because you have gates. Yeah, I prefer the Income King.
But they're going to risk it.
They're actually they're absolutely mad.
I just don't think they have a chance to hold here.
Neither do I. I think they had to go Income King here.
Maybe they just feel like put yourself in the mind of Shadow and Joke. They just feel like, if we send we're admitting defeat. Like, we have to risk it, and we know that we're going to die on 19, but we have to risk it because it's our like 1% chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it, but if they survive here, I think they act like, I'm not sure if they can survive here, but if they do,
I think they should full king.
They could have like won on 21 with the gates.
Yeah. But I don't see them holding
here.
Kind of
also like just full king here.
I think full king and just hope that the leak is small enough to survive. Because you know you're leaking here. Like, you know you are.
Yeah, like Joke went for the king ups.
But not full though.
I think both of them should have gone full. Like, Shadow is not doing
Joke's doing okay. I think with full king they would have survived. Wait, Shadow?
Like
Nani?
Yeah,
Shadow?
I mean,
Shadow?
Are incredibly strong.
Shadow? Hello?
Yeah. He's
just holding
the wave. And it's actually paying off because they are going to live here.
Absolute balls, cast iron, galvanized steel balls on these guys.
Well, I mean, it's also the caster's curse, right?
Yeah. We said that they're going to die, which means, of course, it's the winning play to not do what we say.
Easy survival.
Wow. Wow, Shadow wings.
The question is, will they go? Or will they just race on 21?
I think they might 21 now. I think they're 21.
I think so too.
There's resends from Aviator and SSP. But Joke on you, he's got canopies, he's got double halos.
We might be wrong though, because looking at their values, Shadow is gonna leak a lot, I assume, even though he pulled out 2 Zerkers here.
Yeah, two Zerkers is irrelevant, right? It's not Fatalizers, and he has nothing to tank for them, so Shadow almost certainly leaks here, and SSP did skip income for the Shaman, but I think Joke on you holds with no Shaman against him.
Yeah, but like, if Shadow
there's Villain, and sure, it's nerfed against the boss, but it's still a melee Villain.
It's not gonna cover anything, because the
Halos need to ramp.
They need to ramp, yes. And he doesn't have a lot of tank value. Like, I'm not even sure if he holds, but if he does, he's not covering anything. And
their king's on 27%.
Yeah. And there's a good chance they
Well, his villain's still alive. And those halos are ramping, so Joke will hold.
Yeah, but
Shadow leaks massively.
Yeah, they're dead.
They're dead. Oh man, they should have sent.
They should have sent here.
But like, how could they? Because look at the size of this canopy on Aviator. That's a 21,000 health canopy on Aviator.
Like, look at the values, right? And you have to understand that Shadow is like incredible in 21.
Yeah.
Not just very bad here, and Joke does not have the ability to cover.
What a close series.
Yeah, I really enjoyed casting those matches.
They were intense,
all of them
dude.
Were intense and high quality gameplay.
Wow.
And
would they ever? Do they ever win if they send there on 20? Like they made the absolute balls to the walls play of not sending on 19, and it looked like it was paying off for them. But I mean, Aviator with his 9 billion health canopy though.
It kind of depends on how fast the enemies sneak.
I mean, Shadow did have enough for like a Shaman and a Four Eyes, right?
Yeah.
But the problem was, like, we saw their mid against no send. Aviator like didn't lose a single unit. In fact, he definitely didn't lose a single unit because the canopy tanked from the start to the end. So Aviator held without losing a single unit, which is not bad.
It's hard to phrase it like that because that single unit
is his only chance, right? Yeah, like
it's like
if that canopy dies,
is in there. Like the heals are in there, the Chieftain buffs are in there, the Ocean Templar buff is in there. It's like, if that
he's got all of his eggs in one basket. Yeah, so if that canopy dies, it's very different. But we saw SSP leaking no send. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe if they send, things are different. But it's such a hard call. I respect it. I respect Shadow and Joke skipping there on 20, knowing that Aviator was going to have the world's biggest canopy. I think it was not a bad call.
It's a rough call to make.
Yeah. Oh man. But I feel for Joke and Shadow. Like I just think that they made really good decisions in both game 2 and 3, and they just got pipped by Aviator and SSP. Like the reigning champions. Like everyone expects them to play well. Like everyone expects them to win their games and get to the final and etc. etc. Shadow and Joke, I feel like they came into this as a little bit unfavoured, a bit of the underdog.
Yeah,
and they damn near took it. Like they dominated game 1 by miles with Fiesta.
Yeah, and they dominated game 2.
They dominated game 2. Like they outplayed SSP and Aviator in game 2 in the early and mid game.
Absolutely.
In the early and mid game, they played better.
They couldn't close it off.
Yeah.
Close it out. And even in this game, like they were super behind, and then they still made it incredibly close and came back.
Yeah,
it's like
it was nearly the fairy tale story there with the comeback for Shadow and Joke on you, because they were really far behind in the early game.
Yeah, and I really hope they're not too disappointed because
they played super well today.
Incredibly well, yes.
Yeah, they played way better than I expected them to.
From what I've seen from them, this was honestly the best performance so far.
Oh, I 100% agree. And I've been watching them play in the LIHL. I've been watching them play in previous Nova Cups. These guys were on form today. They played so well against the reigning champions as well. Like
that's why I'm kind of disappointed that they lost, because they actually played out of their minds and better than they did ever before. And I think I hope they hear that and take that to heart. Like,
you cannot be disappointed with the way you played today. Like,
absolutely
balanced on a knife edge, like the 1% king in game number 2.
Yeah,
and they would have just 2-0'd the reigning champions. You know, if there was one more lizard in there to throw one more spear, it would have been GG.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, SSP and Aviator, congratulations, those guys. They deserve to win. But but Shadow and Joke on you, I just feel for those guys because, like you say, they played out of their minds.
It's just devastating. Yeah.
But man, what an intense series! What an absolutely insane 3-game series.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that both games went the full mile.
Yeah, for sure. And I really hope that everyone in the Twitch chat has enjoyed the games as much as we have casting them, because I think it's been a really good day of Legion so far. And I'm really excited about tomorrow's finals as well.
Oh yeah, so am I. So
is my son, apparently. Now that I've opened the door.
Yeah, always nice to hear.
Yeah. Anyway, Green, a pleasure as always. It's been amazing to have you hanging out on the cast. I've really enjoyed having you here, as always. So thank you very much for that, my friend.
Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me, my friend. It was a pleasure to be there. I had a lot of fun. I hope the viewers were entertained, and I'm always happy to join you.
Perfect, dude, perfect. Well, guys in Twitch chat, I'm sure you've had an amazing day of Legion today, and make sure that you tune in tomorrow. Now, be aware that if you're European, such as myself, the games will start an hour later tomorrow because of daylight savings time. It will be the same time for our US viewers who don't have a daylight savings shift tomorrow. So just be aware, it's starting at 7 p.m. European time tomorrow, same time in the States. So make sure you're here. Don't miss any more of these incredible games of Legion. With that, guys, I think we've reached the end of the stream. So once again, a big thank you to everyone who makes this happen. Of course, the team at Auto Attack Games, but also the people behind the scenes like Natodog and Seraphin, who, by the way, has organised this month's cup while suffering from coronavirus. So fair play to that guy. Like, he really is dedicated to the Legion scene, clearly putting in his all, even while sick. So yeah, just a big shout out to those guys. And one final shout out again to my amazing co-caster, GreenSpirit, who is lucky.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Pennywise.
All right,
Yeah.
Guys. On that
That's a lot of fun.
note, we will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.